Michael. It's another weird one. So we're doing this. No, that's no good. You're yawning right away. You're yawning before we even started.
Because it's too weird, Jeff.
I've got. Well, everybody knows the weird is really just code for boring. So that's not very. It's just a big grab bag. It's like it's like that big bag of Dum Dums suckers, and you can't. And then like you keep reaching in, and every time you just pull out the question mark one, and you're just like, God damn it! I just want strawberry. All that's in here is all question marks.
I remember finding out how they make the question mark ones, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Yep.
It's just crazy.
So welcome back, everybody, to the dojo here on RageSelect. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mike. And it's not a mystery as to why we're here.
Before we start, though, Michael, now that I brought it up, what is your what's your sucker of choice? What kind of sucker candy do you prefer?
I was a big fan of the Tootsie Pop.
The Tootsie Pop is the correct answer. That's great. Yes, Blow Pops suck ass because I don't want to be sucking on something that I'm then going to be chewing. And
yeah, it's a strange one.
Dum Dums are for babies. They're too small, and I have to put 4 of them in my mouth to get any flavor.
It's true.
And that's bad, too. So, yes, Tootsie Rolls are the correct answer. When we used to go on big road trips, my parents would buy like a big bag of them. My parents were really big fans of that old adage of just like tell your kids they have to shut the fuck up, and if they shut the fuck up, then I'm going to give them candy. And we'd be like, okay, we're being very good. Like, money, please.
Well, it just reminds me of that It's Always Sunny, where it's like, yeah, I always listen to Dennis because I think he has candy in his pocket.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I do have candy. God damn it. Here, have some candy.
Yep. So, it's a big grab bag week. It's just a bunch of crazy shit. But before we get there, Michael, last week I had 2 horror movies to tell the people
That's right.
on the show about. And this week I have 2 horror movies to tell the people of RageSelect about. Would you like to hear more about Pearl or Smile?
I don't really care either way.
Okay.
I already know enough about both of them, I guess. I don't really care about if I got spoiled either way.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell my general things because last week it was Terrifier 2 and Barbarian.
And Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah. Those were both good, and I liked watching them, even though Terrifier was stupid and disgusting. I still kind of liked it. I didn't really care for either one of these. Like, I didn't think that X was quite as good as everybody just seemed like they were really over the moon about X. And
it was a remake, right? X?
No.
X was a remake, as far as I know.
No.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
99% certain it was a remake.
Pretty sure.
Everyone told me it was a remake.
Who told you that?
The Twitter.
Don't believe Twitter. Written by Ty West, directed by Ty West, produced by Ty West.
Read what it says on the top then.
What does it say? It's a slasher film, blah, 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 blah. Film was New Zealand, premiered at South by Southwest. It's got its homages, particularly to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It must be the homage thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Pearl's the prequel, right?
Yes. Yes. And then they're making another one called Max XXXine, which is the character from X. Okay. I thought Pearl was okay. I mean, it was kind of like a less interesting version of The Witch, where it was like, hey, do you just want to watch like people be kind of miserable and then like some murders eventually happen? And like there's a really, really good monologue by the main character, but like it didn't save the fact that I had to spend 2 hours watching fucking rural farm people be miserable in like the 1910s, and I was like, great, fine, whatever. But actually, then I watched Smile, and I was just like, oh shit, I'd watch Pearl again in a second before I'd watch this. I thought that movie was fucking horseshit, man.
Really?
Like, I thought it was really bad. Like, well, okay, no wait, hold on. Let me make a distinction here. The lead character in that movie, like I kept thinking, like, you know, the whole thing with this movie is that it's like, oh, this thing happens and now I'm cursed and only I can see the monster. It reminded me a lot. I've been listening to the audiobook for If This Book Exists, You're in the Wrong Dimension, which is the new Jason Pargin, John Dies at the End book that came out in October. And there was
How many books is that up to now?
I think it's 3.
3? Because it's John Dies at the End, this book's full of spiders.
Seriously, dude, don't touch it. Yeah.
And then this one.
And I think that's the 3rd one. But But
I heard good things about all of them. I've never read any of them.
Oh, they're all very good.
I remember the movie for John Dies at the End, which is also
not very good.
I like that one a lot, but I never read the book, so that could help. That's probably part of it.
Oh no! What the hell did I just read? That came out in 2017. There's 4 of those.
Okay, so there's 4 of them. Okay.
Yeah, there's 2.
I need to read all these. Then.
And then there's 2 of the future one. Futures of Violence and Fancy Suits, and Zoe punches the future in the dick. I
love the names of these, by the way. But that's one of the reasons I wanted to read them to begin with.
I think Jason Partridge is a really good actor, or really good writer. But the second book, This Book's Full of Spiders, Seriously Don't Touch It, had a really interesting premise because, well, actually the whole series premise, right, is that in the first book, John and David Wong, the main character, like they ingest the soy sauce that was in the movie. It's like this black viscous stuff, and it like lets them see stuff that's always there, but you can't see it. And so part of it becomes the fact that they're like these really unlikely like monster slayers, because no one else literally can see what the fuck is going on except for them. And so it like falls to them to be the ones to do it, even though they're like, David is a loser and John is like a punk rock freak, and like neither one of them have any business doing anything, and yet they're like the only people who can see this shit and fight against it. So in the second book, there was a whole thing where they had these little spiders, and the spiders would crawl up into people's mouths and they would like punch out through their head and take them over, make them into zombies. The thing is that only John and David could see the spiders, and then a lot of that book was them desperately trying to be like, I don't know how to convince you that there's an invisible spider that's about to go into your mouth and take you over, but like, please don't talk because it's right by your mouth. And the people are like, I don't see anything. And it was, so part of Smile was this idea that it was like, oh, there's this thing and the main character just can't like communicate it to anybody, because if you try to say what it is, you sound like a crazy person. But also, she was having like a 2-hour nervous breakdown, like after the intro of the movie.
Oh, okay.
So like it doesn't help. Like I was sitting there, I was just like, and I know like part of this movie was the fact that anybody would be really freaked out in this situation, right? But I felt like this person could have sat down and been like, okay, listen. Sit here with me, and I'm going to explain this with the pictures and the documentation that I got from my cop boyfriend that explains exactly what is happening here, that this is not just something I made up. Look, here are police records.
Because you have the actual proof of it.
Right.
It's not like It Follows.
Yes,
where
exactly.
You're just like, well, I had sex with a guy, now an invisible entity's after me.
Yeah.
That's not really easy to prove.
But, the thing is that she keeps doing stuff like going to her sister's house and just being like, look, I need to tell you about the crazy. I'm not crazy. There's this thing. And they're like, yeah, they told me it was a ghost. It's not a ghost. It's not a fucking ghost. Like, and so one of the things that the main actress in that movie, she acted her ass off. She was just like breaking down, and there was a sub story about like her trauma from seeing stuff when she was a kid and how it's affected her life and it's influenced where she's going and her relationship with A-Train and all that shit. Like
A-Train's in this movie?
Yeah, it took me a long time to figure out who it was. And it was just like in the hands of a better filmmaker, this could have been really poignant, except that like the monster part kept getting in the way and being stupid. Like,
so you think the short would be better to watch then?
Maybe. I think
that's a movie that I know was actually like, it's one of those ones where it's like, this is a short that they expanded into a full movie.
The other thing is, I'm sure that everybody's seen the girl at like she's at the very beginning of the movie that has the real creepy smile, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that over the course of the movie, like part of the movie is like a kind of It Follows, but it's just people smiling at you. And there are a lot of characters that show up and start smiling, and it's like, you guys needed to spend more money on like a prosthetic or some CGI or something, because it's like they just told this person, we need you to smile in the creepiest way possible, as wide as you can. And they did it, and it looked silly. And it was just like, because it was just a person smiling as hard as they can and making their eyes a little mean.
Okay.
And so some of them, like that one girl at the beginning, she could pull that shit off great. She looked fucking creepy. But then later on, when other people start showing up and doing it, and you're just like, also there was a shitload of jump scares, and I have no tolerance for jump scares.
Okay. Well, see, this is why you got to give this disease monster thing to like just the super misogynistic guy. So he just keeps seeing women smiling at him and be like, they're really into me today. And he'll never even fucking notice.
Yeah, there were a lot of problems with it. I really didn't understand why it made so much fucking money. Like it was an interesting concept, but like
people just like watching horror shit. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad lately.
I think
or not lately, but you know what I mean. Like just in general when it comes to that, because it came out in the right time.
Right.
If this came out like in the middle of January or something, I don't think it would have done that well.
I don't know. Yeah, it just like it didn't competently do what it said on the tin, and then I went to Metacritic and it was just like 10, 9, 10, 10, 9, and I was like, this is, I mean, like even if
there was a lot of people who really liked it on Twitter.
For me, it's like a 2, but like being charitable, it's a 6 maybe. Like it's no one's gonna remember this shit. It's gonna be like the Slender Man of like. Nobody's gonna remember this. It wasn't
Probably
a very
not,
good movie, and there's other movies that did it better. Like The Empty Man. I talked about that movie a lot. That man did a lot of, that movie was a lot longer and it was a lot weirder and it was a lot more like strange and psychological.
Well, the issue is a lot of the plot of Smile still comes down to the fact that there's a lot of movies that have done that recently.
Yeah,
the thing where it's like, and then it follows you for a while.
Right.
Besides, It Follows. There was also that. What was it? The Truth or Dare one did the same thing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That one I heard was awful.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really picky about my horror movies, though. I'm not like a gore hound. I'm not like a horror hound. Like, there's some stuff that I'll watch.
That's fair.
And, like, the thing
I'm
is
not
that
either.
I know a lot of people who are horror movie fans who are just like, hooray, horror movies. And I'm like, if it's good, if it's not, then I'm like, I'm going to sit over here and talk a lot of shit about it. So, like, Pearl was better than X, but both of those I didn't like anywhere near as much as like the Black Phone or Barbarian or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Or the Babadook or something like that. Anyway, that's my but the spooktacular time is over. Now it's nothing but Thanksgiving movies until Christmas.
There's not a lot of them, but they're there.
Michael, how about you? What did you get up to last week?
Well, I watched a bunch of horror stuff. I recently got Army of Darkness in 4K. So I watched all of the Evil Deads in 4K since the other two were already out. And they're great on 4K. Like, they did a really, really good job with most of the transfers.
So is that the 3 and then the remake?
I didn't have the remake.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't watch the remake.
I like that remake.
The remake's good. It's just I didn't watch it for some reason.
Yeah.
It's mostly because I don't own it. I should get that eventually. I forgot to. They're going to make they finally announced that they're going to, or not this recently, but they announced that they're going to release the 4th one, or the 5th one, I guess, in theaters after it got really good screenings, apparently.
Oh.
So that'll be out in April this year.
Next year?
Yeah.
Wait, is that a sequel to the remake?
I don't know. It's called Evil Dead Rise.
Oh.
It's an Evil Dead movie that takes place in a high rise.
Okay.
And so, but apparently it's gotten really good, like, word of mouth, because originally it was just going to end up on streaming.
No idea.
But it did so well in like all of its like early screenings that they're like, oh, we should probably put this in the theater.
Oh, I really want to watch Wendell and Wild. That's the other one I really want to watch.
I heard good things about that one.
Anyway, sorry.
But other than that, I watched the new Treehouse of Horror.
Oh, I watched the Death Note one of those. It was really fucking disappointing.
The Death Note one is the most disappointing of the 3, but I really liked the first one and the last one a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I like them. I never was like looking at my watch the way I did on some of the other ones I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is probably the best one they've done in quite some time.
Yeah.
And the Death Note one was just great to look at. The whole time I was just staring at stuff because I'm like, this is really beautifully animated, and there's a lot of like gags in the background that I had enough fun with. As well as I did laugh at some of the ways she had some of the people get killed.
Yeah.
Because it worked slightly different than the Death Note did. And then there's and then other than that, I played a bunch of Mario Rabbids.
Mm-hmm.
Because that game is addictive as hell. I missed all the volunteering for Screener Squad stuff for One of Us.
Oh,
I missed the entire thing because I was in the middle of fucking Mario Rabbids and my phone started going off a bunch of times. I'm like, what's that? It's like, oh, it's because everyone's jumping on all the movies that you wanted to watch.
There
and
you
stuff.
go.
I'm like, well, I guess I'm not watching any of these movies.
Don't you have seniority? Didn't you get like one guaranteed pick? Is it like South by Southwest where you could sign up for like one show and then just kick everybody else off of it?
No, it's a first come first serve because there's so many of us now.
Man.
And so everyone jumped on all of the ones I wanted, and even the ones I didn't know I wanted at that point because I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm just gonna leave it alone because I'm just gonna play more Mario Rabbids. And so,
I mean, you don't got any business. You don't got any business watching movies, Michael. We got fucking Rabbids. We got Call of Duty. We got Resident Evil DLCs and Gods of War.
God of War comes out next week.
Gungrave Gore at the end of the month.
Man, I'm excited
fucking
about
Evil
that,
West. So much shit is coming out.
And then I watched Godzilla for Godzilla against Godzilla for Godzilla Day. Because I didn't know about that until last minute because Matt Frank went to an earlier screening.
Okay.
So I went to a late screening.
Cool.
And boy, were the subtitles not great on that version of it.
Yeah, you couldn't tell what Mechagodzilla was saying.
No, what would happen is that, like, so you know, like in a movie, it's like this is this place and has like the subtitle for the place. Somebody would talk and it wouldn't make a subtitle for when they talked when that part was on there.
Cool.
And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with this?
I don't know.
Some of the subtitles were just like, this doesn't make any sense. But other than that, it was a great time.
Okay.
It's the only reason I yawned earlier because I only got like 4 hours of sleep.
This guy not prepped for the podcast, staying up late watching Godzilla movies. I could have had Matt Frank over here if I wanted a sleep-deprived Godzilla fan on the podcast.
I had a donut, so I'm awake. It could have been a lot worse, is what I'm saying.
Anyway,
but that's all I did.
Okay,
that sounds like a lot, but all of that was like a very small time frame.
All right. Well, then let's get into it.
I guess we hung out. That was the other thing we did.
What's that?
We also hung out. I forgot. We never mentioned the birthday party people at the bar.
The birthday party people. Oh my God! Never mind. We don't have time for that story.
We don't have time for that
story.
We'll remind us and we'll bring it up one of these days, guys, people, because that was a fun time.
I told a bunch of people about that. They all had the same reaction that you did to my behavior when I described to them, and I was like, "What? Fuck those guys, man!"
No, I was cool with it, but
I don't care if there's 50 of them. I'll fight all of them. I'm drunk, Jeff.
That was the main issue. Is there was quite a lot of them.
All right. Let's not let Drunk Jeff off the leash just yet. We're doing the podcast now. Drunk Jeff comes later.
I almost forgot about it until it randomly hit me that time.
Yep. Okay. So one of the biggest things that happened last week was we finally got a release date and a price for the PlayStation Virtual Reality 2 headset.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So what is it? February, right?
Yeah, I think it's February of next year, and it's going to be fairly expensive.
Yeah. So the big thing here is the cost. It's going to be $550, which people are like, that's more than the console. And it's like, yes, it's got like optical lenses in it and shit. Like,
it's got a bunch of stuff that some really high-end headsets that are like $1,000 have right now.
Yeah, $550. It doesn't even come with the charging dock, which is $50. It doesn't come with any games, which the first one did. It is $550 just for the headset. Yeah, and then we also got a whole bunch of games. But before we get into the games, I mean, I guess the thing is that I'm not really super duper shocked that that's what the price is.
Oh no, that's the least shocking thing about the headset.
Yeah,
I was worried. I was expecting it to be more, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was expecting them to come out and be like, "Yeah, it's a $650 headset or something like that." And it being $550, I'm like, no, that's actually, or is it $550? That's right.
$550 for just the headset.
Yeah, that's actually not terrible for that headset because, like I said, there's a lot of these headsets that have a lot of the technology this one has currently. That are like $1,000.
Well, I mean, like last week, it's entirely different because it's standalone. But last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever, Meta put out their headset that's $1,500. And like the Vive headsets have been like $1,000, and this is to me more on track of what the Vive headset. Hell, they raised the price of the Oculus Quest 2 this year. Remember?
Did they? What was that? Because I bought mine for they
tacked $50 onto it. It's kind of like the PlayStation price raise as well, which also people are once again lamenting. I 100% I get the pain. I guess the thing is that it doesn't seem it's not like sticker shock. It's not that much more than I would expect it to be. Like, it's maybe within $150 of where I expected it to be. Like, I think that if this had come out and it was $400, that people wouldn't be like too put off by that.
They would just be like, "What's the same as the other one?"
Right.
That's all they would be thinking.
Right.
Like, and even then, like that one came out closer to that originally, if I remember correctly.
I believe so, but. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that when you look at the specs on the headset and you look at like the specs on a PS5, it makes a certain amount of sense. Like it doesn't seem, at least to me, too expensive in the realm of the niche hobby that is VR, right?
Oh, no, yeah.
Like there's always been a big buy-in. There's like the Oculus Quest 2 is the cheap thing. Like, right? That's for the dabblers, right?
It's the cheapest of all of the VR headsets right now.
And it's still like, what, $300 at this point or something like that?
Yeah, and that's like the small one. Like, and because it has the same issue a lot of phones do, where it's like if you buy the cheap one, you're going to fill that sucker up real fast.
Yes,
because they're not very big, and some of these VR games can get real big real fast.
Yeah,
and so I bought the biggest one for like $400 and something.
How much is 128? I'm just looking at. Okay, so Amazon says 128 gig MetaQuest 2 right now is $400.
Okay, so yeah, I have the one just above that one. And I got that, I guess, before the price hike.
Yeah, I guess I'm not. I'm not trying to be gatekeeper or anything, but like. VR has always been expensive, right?
Oh,
like
I remember what was the first one that came out?
The DK2.
That was like $1,000 or something when they first came out.
It was expensive for what it was. It was the cost of a console. Like they've always kind of hovered around that. Like you could buy an entire game console or like games for 3 months, or you could buy this one piece of hardware that has like a limited selection of somewhat janky games that you can play on it.
Yeah.
Like it's always to me seemed to be like an enthusiast thing, right? It's like a super nice car. You can buy something that's cheap that'll get the job done, which is, you know, a fucking Xbox Series S with Game Pass will keep you entertained for a lot longer than a PSVR 2.
Oh, 100%.
But like I don't know, for the amount of crap that they packed into this thing, the fact that it's supposed to be doing 4K 90 hertz with the foveated rendering and like the new controllers and stuff like that, it kind of makes sense to me. Like it doesn't seem unreasonable, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, I agree 100% that it's not unreasonable. The main thing is the reason a lot of people are shocked by it is because in their heads they're like, well, they want it to be super accessible, so they're going to make it super affordable. That was never going to be the case,
right?
And it could eventually be the case, like what happened with the normal PSVR, because those went down in price consistently over the years.
Yeah,
to the point where I almost bought one before I even had the job I have now,
right?
Kind of thing. And so
you know what's affordable is the Nintendo Switch VR solution.
Yeah,
it's made out of cardboard.
That was saying the phone. I remember when the phones did that too.
Yeah,
the cardboard. You could just order it and it would show up. But yeah, that was the thing. It's like if there was never going to be. Like it's not like
$200.
It was never going to be like what was one of the weirder gimmicks that happened, like the Wii Pad.
Mm-hmm.
It was never going to be this fairly cheap thing that was just going to break in like a day.
Right.
They wanted these things to last, and they wanted them to be the most advanced thing that you could possibly like. They want to push VR.
Yeah.
In the direction VR is going. Because if they were just going to make it affordable, they would have just re-released the PlayStation VR again.
Mm-hmm. With like new connections for the PS5, same
and that's all they would have done.
Garbage frame rate, same garbage like displays and stuff like that.
They wouldn't have fucking
done ice cream
anything.
Cones and the camera and all that bullshit.
Yeah, and even then, like the only other thing is they could have maybe made kind of what the Quest or the Quests do with their controllers.
Yeah,
but they went even further than those things.
Yeah.
So this is just them going in the direction VR is slowly going towards technology-wise, because they don't want to release something that'll be outdated within like a minute.
Yes, I mean the rendering on the PlayStation 5 is only going to get like a higher resolution and better and stuff like that whole gen, not just PS5, but
of course,
Series X and stuff on the PC.
Everything.
We're seeing stuff push forward. You know, the fucking 4090s are all so fast they're catching on fire and shit. Like, so it wouldn't make sense to release a modest thing that is able to hit like current frame rate targets right now. You need to future-proof that thing so that you can keep selling games for it, so that when the customer buys it, they can keep it for 5 years and keep buying stuff for it.
Yeah,
as opposed to having it just wear out and be garbage.
Exactly, and this is the same thing that happens to every piece of technology on the planet.
Absolutely.
This is the first release version of it.
Yeah.
The one technology either A becomes more accessible and it becomes cheaper, then just get it then, and then it'll be accessible.
Or, the entire global economy collapses and people have to finally reduce their prices to something that's fucking reasonable.
Well, there's that too, that whenever that happens, these probably won't even be sold anymore, to be honest. But
not a fan.
The thing is that, like, that's just where we're at when it comes to technology. Like, I didn't buy the PlayStation VR right away, and that thing went down to $200 eventually.
Yep.
People didn't buy the PS4 right away, and those things went down to $200. That happens to every piece of technology eventually.
Yep.
Until they stop making them, and then they'll go back up in price. But that's different.
Got to get them in the sweet spot.
Yeah, there's a sweet spot in there. Even then, not all technology has that issue.
Yep. We also got 11, I believe, games that they talked about for launch. So a bunch of stuff that we had never heard of before. This Supermassive is putting out another roller coaster horror game.
Really?
like that other one. Remember the
the carnival one?
Yeah. So this one's called Switchback VR, and it's more based on the dark pictures instead of the
Until Dawn one.
Until Dawn, right? But it is also just a fucking rail shooter with two guns. You know what? We're gonna look at a lot of these, Michael. I'm really tired of VR games that are just like, so you have two hands and we gave you two guns and now you just have to run around and shoot stuff. Like, I really want to see VR makers abstract the control schemes a little bit more, where it's like, controllers aren't shaped like hands.
No.
Like, they don't emulate your hands. We're able to kind of use synesthesia to like create this man-machine connection. You know what you'd use a car, right? You don't think about driving a car. You don't think like pedal, steer. It's just like you drive. You have that feeling of driving. And I think that they get so hung up on not disorienting people by making sure that they have like a body and two hands that they don't think about the ways that traditional games like completely obfuscate, like, using the right stick to look around is completely try giving a controller to somebody who doesn't play video games. They are not going to understand what the fuck to do. Right?
I've seen it with my own eyes. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Because every time they look down and they're just like, what is it asking me to do?
Oh my God. Matt, when I handed Matt an Xbox controller and it was like press A and he had to keep looking to see which button X and A was, and it was just like, okay, give me the controller back. Like, no.
Well, that's the thing. Not everyone plays every console like me and you. But and the thing is, you put me in front of computer,
right?
And it has something similar.
Yep.
I'm also going to look down. I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm better than everyone. I'm saying that I've just been playing games for so long. It's the same as driving, like you said.
I am.
I just do it. I don't think about it.
I'm saying I'm better than everyone.
Yes, Jeff is better than everyone.
But that's because I literally have gotten paid to play video games for 40 hours a week for the last 10 years.
You should see him play the Virtual Boy. He plays the mean Virtual Boy.
Make all the noises and everything. So yeah, I mean, this just looks like more of that same thing, right?
Well, it's the thing that happens to VR all the time, is that somebody's like, make a VR game, and then they go the easiest possible route, which is shooting gallery.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, because I like shooting galleries.
And roller coaster. Roller coasters are good in VR because you get that whole sense of movement and stuff.
And I like the last one they did.
Yeah.
That one was a hell of fun. I played that at Chris's, and I didn't even notice the massive amount of pain I was giving myself.
Yeah, I actually don't. I don't have a serious problem with this. It's just as you look through, it's like
a lot of shooters.
Yeah, from there you get Crossfire Sierra Squad that Smilegate is making, which is like, I believe those are the guys that did Crossfire X.
I think so, yeah.
And this is like a Call of Duty Counter-Strike, like running around shooting at guys.
Well, we've seen what happens when you play a bad VR shooter.
Yep.
Well, I don't remember the name of it, but I think was it a normal dojo?
Yeah.
If you guys get a chance, look that up.
The one where it was like, was it you and I, or was
it was me and you? Yeah.
Okay.
Because we were just like, man, this is so fucking boring.
Yeah.
And it was like, how is this shooter boring in VR?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the thing, is that not every VR game is going to be like a fucking winner.
Which, again, this one looks fine, but like if you told me that this was just like the sequel to that game that Eric plays all the time on Comment Etiquette in VR, I would be like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It just looks a lot like every multiplayer / first-person shooter VR game I've seen, where it's just, and I'll admit, like I've said it before, putting a shooter in VR does make it a lot more visceral, because you actually have to aim the gun as opposed to just using your reflexes to snap to headshot. You literally have to like point your gun and hold your hand the right way to shoot stuff.
And some of them, you do dodge from your movement. So it's like it's interesting is the thing.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see whether like one of the biggest problems with the PSVR, right, is that because it was using the ice cream cones and the camera. At least for me, like the way that my setup is, if I stood too close to my camera, it would constantly lose where my hands were.
That was the main issue with it for a long time.
So if this is going to fix that, then like, yeah, it like, because one of the major downsides to VR, right, is that if you're simulating my body and then suddenly my hand just drifts off to the left and it's like, okay, well now my immersion is 100% broken, right? Because my hand is here, but my hand is over there, and where is my hand?
It makes for some really funny moments, though.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to just breeze through most of these. There's one called the Light Brigade. I didn't realize that I was like kind of had a bit of a soft spot for the original Charge of the Light Brigade poem until I started using it in here, and I was like, you go fuck yourself for using this in your dumb VR trailer. It's some kind of like roguelike, like there's monsters coming in, and again, you're walking around with a big hovering gun in front of you, shooting at everybody that comes at you.
Yeah. Yeah, shooters. It
just makes everything look the same. It makes everything look the same.
Well, again, it's just like somebody was like, make a VR game, and then they decided every person who can make a quick VR game that can be announced right away is most likely going to be a shooter.
Yep.
Because this guy doesn't even have a body. Like some of the other ones that we saw had bodies and like arms and shit. It was just the gun.
That's true. Cities VR, I will never understand why, but there's an enhanced edition of Cities VR. I do not understand why you would want to play a city sim game in VR.
That one I get because this is specifically for the people who think they're God. And so you can be above them being like, cower before me, tiny people.
Sure.
Those are specifically for people with God complexes.
I mean, I think that would be better if you could just play like the Sims VR, because they literally in this trailer show like having to like bring up a menu to set the zoning restrictions, like, and it's like no, that's what you want to do. You want to do that with a mouse and a keyboard, brah. Like
I was God there for a minute.
So there was that. I'm actually excited about Cosmonius High. And it's only because it's made by Alchemy Labs, who made Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator.
It's also the most different looking one.
Yeah, it's very, very fun.
That kind of helps.
Very kind of crazy looking. It's like you're like an alien going to an alien high school, and you've got like weird powers, and yeah, it all looks like super fun and super like crazy, and yeah, that's what I want. Plus, these guys have a good sense of humor. Like, Job Simulator was legit funny.
Yeah.
I was able to get my ex-girlfriend to play a VR game, and all she wanted to do was play Job Simulator. That was the only thing she wanted to play.
Those are fun, though, yeah.
How about some of these other things? She's like, nope, Job Simulator. I was like, all right. But so this one, looking forward.
Yeah, that one looks great.
Hello Neighbor Search and Rescue starts off with a blurb that's like, well, you've mastered Hello Neighbor in 2 dimensions, but what if it was in 3 dimensions? Michael, I have not mastered Hello Neighbor in 2 dimensions. I don't understand Hello Neighbor. I tried playing it one time, and it seemed really weird and boring, and I couldn't figure out how to do anything, and even when I could figure out how to do stuff, it didn't seem that interesting.
Well, the issue with Hello Neighbor is it's designed for streamers. is the main thing. It's designed for streamers who love to overreact to things. Because they're just like, oh my god, he's coming, and he's coming for me kind of thing. And it's a puzzle game, and you're trying to keep the neighbor from finding you, trying to get down into the dark basement.
Yeah.
And it was a cool idea to me originally, because in the beta it was like, it seemed much scarier.
Yeah.
Because it started off in that sort of way. But then they set it to where it's like, and then you show back up as an adult. So I'm like, well, then it becomes less interesting,
right?
Because now I'm an adult, kind of thing. And then
I can buy a gun.
Yeah, I should just buy a gun and then be there.
Yeah,
or just call the cops at that point, because the thing is like. And then they kept making more of these things.
There's like, this is multiplayer. There's another multiplayer one. Yeah,
they did an asynchronous multiplayer one for it, which I think some of this is based on because it's got a lot of the kids from it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: I don't give a fuck about Hello Neighbor anymore. From the first, like, I thought it was an interesting idea originally because it's like, oh, your neighbor has a dark secret,
right?
But then it was like, oh, maybe he's a supernatural. But then when you start adding more to the mystery to it. Well, maybe he's a supernatural being. Maybe this whole thing's happening. He steals kids' souls, maybe. Who the fuck knows? It's like, stop it.
There's like some kind of like bird with teeth walking around.
Yeah.
Like
it's like, it was really cool, the idea that your neighbor's just maybe a crazy serial killer, and you're like a kid trying to prove that.
Yeah.
But then you just made it stupider as it went on, because you're like, but what if like a demon thing or some shit? I don't even know, to be honest, because I never got past a certain point. Because like Jeff, I was like, what the fuck is the point of this?
I tried playing it, and the problem that I kept running into was it was like, this guy doesn't want you in his house, and I don't really want to be in his house. So like, what am I doing here? What's my motivation?
Yeah, exactly. like I said, the original one made more sense, because you're like, well, I like the idea of it being like, oh, a kid wants to prove that his neighbor's a murderer kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he's gonna find out. But then, like, again, they just kept going further and further with it.
I don't get it.
And I was like, just leave it at that, and it would have been really cool.
I don't get it.
But I don't know. It frustrates me.
Some of this stuff, by the way, is Oculus exclusive stuff that is getting brought over, because this Jurassic World Aftermath collection is like it's like a 2-episode stealth game where you're going back to the original Jurassic Park and hiding from raptors and trying to get the shit.
Yeah, because this was on the Oculus. I remember seeing it in the store a bunch of times.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for it. It's very basic. It's very simple.
Yeah, I almost bought it a couple times, but because it was so simple, I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Apparently Jeff Goldblum actually came back and did like lines for it.
That makes sense.
But and then Pistol Whip is going to be on the PlayStation. That's great. Pistol Whip rules. Pistol Whip is fun as shit.
I'm cool with that. Pistol Whip is an amazing game.
It's basically just Beat Saber, but with guns instead of lightsabers, and it feels great to fucking zip, zap, zoop down that hall, shooting people and ducking and bobbing and jiving and weaving and all that stuff.
My favorite songs in it are in the western part somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great time. I highly recommend it.
Yep, Pistol Whip is great. If you already have an Oculus, go play Pistol Whip.
Yeah, and it's got a shit. They keep adding stuff to it.
Yeah,
constantly. So
yep. Zenith is like a weird MMO that is already on the PC. I think it's already on the PC. I don't remember whether it's on Steam or whether it's an Oculus exclusive thing. I think it's on Steam in early access right now, but it's like it's like an MMO thing where like you and your friends team up in this fantasy world and like swing swords and shoot magic, and everybody looks really stupid because it's tracking where your arms are.
Yeah.
And no matter what, they still can't make that look cool. You still look stupid in VR because people are like, I'm over here. Like,
that's kind of the charm of it, though.
I saw a video. I saw a fucking one of the Linus Tech Tips spinoff channels came up with a video for that $1,500 Oculus thing, and they showed video of what the whole metaverse looks like.
Oh my god!
And I was
awful.
like, this is worse than anything I've ever seen.
It's the worst.
It's more expensive than anything I've ever seen.
Like somehow VR chat looks 1,000 times better than the metaverse.
Yep.
Like I was watching a video of VR chat where somebody added a way of doing sign language like perfectly on it.
Yep.
I was like, come on, guys. Like, and they're like, well, we're gonna add legs. I'm like, I can be Spider-Man in the VR chat. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then after the fall, after the fall might be the one that I was thinking of that was on the PC. It's like a zombie survival, like ice zombies coming out, and you and your team. It's basically Left 4 Dead. It seems like you're trying to team up, and it's never a good sign when you've got a game that's already out and half your trailer is a bunch of developers talking about how cool their game is, and it's just like, well, then show it, dum.
It's always weird when that happens, but as long as it works out, you know, that could be a good time with people if you know enough people with it.
I do like this thing where like they put on your one of your hands, you've got this little like gauntlet that has different powers, and they show one where it's like mini missiles that can pop out, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Or like a big
pretty fun
electric, or like a saw blades, like spinning saw blades. But again, just the problem comes that when everything has to be your hands, everything is a first person shooter, and it all just kind of ends up merging into looking the same. My brain glazes over. There's not enough variety.
No, I get that a lot. That was one of the reasons I like Gorn and Drunken Bar Fight as much as I did.
Oh yeah,
because
they're melee.
Yeah, because it was not like, oh, and then you picked up again, and it's like, no, yeah, it's all melee,
dude,
ripping people's heads off and shit. throwing people off of buildings in a drunken bar fight.
Why is Beat Saber like the most popular thing? And it's because it's like, here's 2 lightsabers, play Guitar Hero, and you're just like, okay,
hell yeah,
I'll do the hell out of that. Like, just saying that out loud makes me want to charge up my thing tonight and get drunk and play some Beat Saber.
That's pretty great.
Because I always do it too much, and the next day I'm always hurting, but it does get me in better shape because my brain is like, keep hitting those Green Day songs with the lightsabers, dude.
You gotta make sure Linkin Park plays correctly.
That's right.
Go for it, bitch.
And then finally, I actually am a big fan of Tentacular. It's a Devolver Digital game, of course.
I'm just making funny.
I think this was announced at the Devolver Showcase.
It was, if I remember correctly.
So this is like you play as this giant tentacled monster that's like just kind of interacting with this little coastal town, and so you've got these big tentacles, or that's your interaction with the world. Yeah. And then people ask you to do stuff. One of the things that they mentioned in their little press release I think is really cool is that this game is going to be, the PSVR 2 version is going to be using the foveated rendering, so that when you make eye contact with the people, they look back at you and like say, hey, what's up?
So that's how they know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
But this looks appropriately stupid and goofy, and also you got 2 big tentacles instead of guns. So
hands, for that matter.
Yep.
Which, again, I really like that idea.
It also looks funny, and I'm a big fan of that. So, yeah, the Tentacular. And then also, they didn't have a new trailer for it, but the Horizon game is also coming out. So, and not all these things are coming out at launch, but this is kind of like your launch window thing.
This is them being like, hey, we're gonna have games when this comes out.
Yep.
So like, it's not gonna be like 1 or 2 things.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a decent variety.
It's pretty good.
A lot of shooters, but a decent variety.
Yep. It's a good start. I mean, I'd be more interested in playing Village, right, than any of most of this stuff. Pistol Whip, Tentacular, Horizon, and that Dark Pictures are probably the big ones.
Yeah, I can see that. And Cosmonius High.
Oh, and Cosmonius High, yeah, from Alchemy. Yep.
Cosmonius.
Yep. Yeah. So that's PSVR happening in February.
The future.
I mean, I'd be honest, Michael. I don't. I can't really afford to pre-order one of these, and I don't even if I did save up the money and buy a PSVR. And I saw how long I used that PSVR.
Use it for like a day, and then let Matt have it for like a year.
Well, that's actually that's not true. I did use it on and off for quite some time. Like, I played all of Super Hot VR, I played all of...
I'm just saying recently.
Arizona Sunshine. But at a certain point, it was like, yes, the difference between I'm going to plop down on the couch, grab a controller, fucking load up my 4K OLED TV, and play the new God of War, or I got to move my couch and fucking draw a ring on the floor that just barely has enough room, and I keep backing up, and Here Comes the Wall is fading into focus, and like,
yeah, I have like no room in my place.
There's only a 30% charge, and the Oculus needs to update, so better charge it up and then wait for 2 hours and then see about downloading a new thing. Do you really want to buy this Resident Evil 4 for an 8th time? There's just a lot of overhead going on. I got a lot. It's super easy. All the rest of the stuff that is just consoles. So.
Yeah, when I played Gorn, I punched my computer because I have very little room. And I remember hearing the loud smack, being like, oh, please tell me I didn't hit the screen, but it turns out I hit the back of it. And I was like, okay, thank God.
Because your dumb monkey brain was like, danger, danger, it's real, danger.
Punch that motherfucker. And I just heard the loud smack, and I was like, ah, fuck. And it's like, oh, good, I only hit the back.
Yep.
Shit was scary.
Let's see. In other PlayStation news, the PlayStation Plus service has lost nearly 2 million subscribers after the relaunch of the new complicated system that nobody understands.
Yeah, who could have foreseen such a thing?
So this is a really interesting, Michael. I think that we have back-to-back stories here. We've got a story about PlayStation Plus and a story about Game Pass, and they're very illuminating stories. Like, first off, there are so many more PlayStation Plus subscribers than there are Game Pass subscribers.
There's a lot more.
So let's put it this way. The next story talking about Game Pass talks about how they're at like 25, 26 million subscribers for Game Pass. PlayStation Plus is at 47, went from 47.3 million to 45.4 million.
Okay.
So they lost 2 million, and you read that headline and you're like, holy shit, that's a lot of people. And you go, they went from 47 million to 45 million. They still have 45 million subscribers. And actually, when you look at this, because of the price readjustment, they actually made money. They made more money with fewer subscribers because the price for everything went up.
Well, not everything, but for the most part.
Well, for the top tier stuff.
And a lot of those people probably went with it.
Yes. Which is really, really interesting. The question is whether or not that is going to be a continual downtrend, or whether that's kind of going to be where it settles, right? Like, is it they lost a big chunk of subscribers because of the price change and the confusion and stuff like that, but now it's like, or is this like, is the next dot going to be further down and then we're going to see more drop off? But it's interesting to think about how, like, the fact that the upper tier PlayStation Plus subscription is like kind of akin to PlayStation's version of Game Pass, and yet they've got, damn near double the number of subscribers with PS Plus that Microsoft has on Game Pass. But I guess that also doesn't take into account games with gold subscribers. The whole thing is too fucking complicated.
Well, that's one of the reasons why everybody is trying to figure out exactly what it means when they say they lost 2 million of them.
Right.
Like, did they actually lose 2 million of them, or is the number skewed because they did something slightly different with the numbers or something?
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not like everybody canceled because the price went up. They could have canceled because the economy is in a weird place right now.
Very true.
Like, there's any number of reasons why 2 million people could have just been like, I'm just going to stop doing this at the exact same time.
Yep.
And that's the tricky thing. Like you said, it comes down to like, well, if it stays a trend, then we can maybe we can see it being that reason.
Yeah.
But if it's like, and then it just went back up again, then it probably was nothing. Probably just the economy. Because somebody probably looked at those prices and was like, in this economy, and then they just decided, they figured it was easier to just buy whatever game they're going to play instead of being like, well, I'm going to pay a lot to play like a PlayStation 1 game that I played when I was like 10.
It's also interesting because a lot of the the biggest first party Sony game that's coming out, God of War, doesn't need a Plus subscription.
No.
Right? I mean, there's Call of Duty, obviously, but yeah, a lot of the stuff that Sony is offering doesn't tie in any way, shape, or form to having Plus, because you don't get a discount, you don't get it for free, with subscription like you do with Game Pass. So it's like, unless, and the fact that Sony is focused so much, you know what? They need to get when they bought Bungie, right? They wanted Bungie to start making them live service games, which could probably buoy that up eventually if they get games that people want to play that require PS Plus to play. Bada bing bang boom.
Yeah.
PS Plus numbers go up. As mentioned, though, the other weird thing was the Game Pass, the Xbox. There's a huge amount of Xbox news that happened last week, and a lot of it is boring, but I'm going to make you all listen to it because sometimes you have to eat your fucking news vegetables in order to understand this industry and what's going on.
We're going to put cheese on it, guys. It's fine.
You have to take one bite without cheese, and then we will put cheese on it.
We're going to fry it then.
Nope.
Covered in chocolate, whatever.
In that, if this book exists, you're in the wrong universe book. There's a part in there where John is deep frying Hot Pockets, and I gotta admit that I read that and I was like, I kind of want to try that.
I kind of want to too. Now that you've said that out loud, it reminds me of that episode of King of the Hill when he's just fucking frying whatever he could think of.
Yeah. Xbox Game Pass failed to hit their target subscriber growth for 2022, we found in a recent report. This is really weird. Okay, so year to year in 2020 and in 2021, Game Pass, new Game Pass subscribers, Game Pass growth broke expectations. Probably a reason for that. You know,
who could know?
Probably a reason for that. As of the June 30th target date, it has been revealed that Game Pass growth did not hit its target this year. Would you like to guess what the target was?
12%.
Way too low.
Really?
Way too low.
What were they expecting?
See, this is what I'm saying, is that this is really interesting if you're into like gaming news. They were expecting 72.8%.
Oh, fuck you. There's no way in hell that was ever going to happen.
They got
72% fucking increase.
Yep.
Fucking crazy people.
They got
some fucking Square Enix expectations.
28% growth rate.
That's fucking what I would have expected.
Right.
The hell's wrong with you people?
So, but what's interesting is that on PC, Isolated saw a 159% increase because they finally started putting fucking PC games that people could play.
That makes sense.
As opposed to normal stuff. Yeah. So what's interesting is that, but you mentioned Square Enix, and the cool thing I like about this story is that like there were all these quotes where they were just like, yeah, we overshot a little bit. 25% is good. We like that. It was great.
Yeah,
like the thing
25% is great for a console's fucking rise.
The thing about Microsoft is that Microsoft is just, they're like the colossal titan. Like nothing bothers them because they don't have to care about any
Microsoft
of this shit. Yes,
they could have been like, we lost $1 billion. And I'm like, where did you lose it?
Between the cushions, I don't know.
And they're just like we have another like a bajillion of them, so we're fine.
How much money did they spend on that fucking table with the projection that came onto it?
I forgot about that shit. That
or
was
the HoloLens. Remember the HoloLens?
They fucking spent billions on buying Activision, who only make Call of Duty right now.
Actually, you know what's funny? Okay, so that's good. Good segue, Michael. Actually, it turns out that the more I read, the more it seems like the reason they spent $69 billion is that they really want that mobile. They want the mobile part of Activision Blizzard.
Really?
Because, okay, one of the things, there was a shitload of stuff, of news here. One of the pieces of news was Phil...
I almost said Lord.
Phil Spencer coming out and saying, like, as long as there is a PlayStation, Call of Duty will be on the PlayStation. Like, he went out and was just like, this is what I'm saying. Stop fucking putting words in my mouth.
Yeah.
As long as there's like, it would be, and like this goes back to you and I talking in the past, talked to just about everybody on the world about this. It would be incredibly stupid for Microsoft to cut off the revenue from the PlayStation version of Call of Duty.
Oh, it would be incredibly stupid.
It's the most profitable game ever, and to just be like, we're just gonna just saw off like 55% of that because we're real petty little bitches.
Like, it makes sense for them to do that with, Bethesda games, because here's the thing: Bethesda games, a lot of people who play them are Americans for the most part, or people from the West, and people from the West are fine with Xboxes.
Yep.
People, whereas with Call of Duty, that's the entire world's thing, and if you cut that in half, that's a huge portion of everybody.
Yep.
And also, it would just piss off consumers who have both.
Right. It wouldn't draw people to your Xbox ecosystem. It would probably draw some people who were just desperate to play Call of Duty, but a lot of people would probably just be like, well, you can go fuck yourself. I'm going to spend my $500 on a video card and go over to the PC, like, instead of, like, they're not going to feel...
they win either way.
Warmly. Well, yeah, that's true.
That's, again, Microsoft is...
Yeah.
They don't care. They really don't. But but they're smart enough to know to invest in something and not, like, shoot themselves in the foot with it.
Yes. Another thing that Microsoft, that they talked about, this is Phil Spencer, right? Spencer, yeah. Yes. On the Same Brain podcast, I didn't listen to this podcast, but I read a bunch of recaps, was like, we also know that we have not had any Microsoft first-party exclusives, and that is hurting Game Pass growth, Xbox growth, whole thing, right?
100%.
Like, they are basically, this is like their their skip year. 2022 is like the skip year, and I have a feeling that like Starfield is just going to be the beginning. You got Starfield, Redfall.
Was Halo last year?
What's that?
Halo was last year, right?
I believe it was at the end of last year.
Yeah, November, I think.
So yes, they've got a bunch of stuff on the horizon, but like game development isn't something where you just pivot and you're like, okay, we need a real blockbuster in 30 days. Get going. You have infinity money, and they'd be like, doesn't matter how fucking much money you give us.
The only other way they could do that is they could pull a Super Mario Brothers 2 and they look at a game and they're like, we'll make that, Master Chief.
Right.
That's the only thing. Like they would add Duke Nukem.
Yes. To Bulletstorm.
To Bulletstorm is what would happen.
Yeah. The Callisto Protocol. It turns out that it's actually Master Chief.
For the whole time.
The whole time.
Everyone's lines are still the same.
Project Keystone is the Xbox streaming stick, like Stadia.
Oh, yeah.
Canceled. At least for now. They pivoted to...
Straight to jail, they said.
Straight to jail. They've pivoted to the thing where they're putting the Xbox xCloud app on TV software instead.
Oh, okay. Which is, I think, a better idea.
Better idea, yep. Until they get the kinks worked out. It feels like something where... From the context clues, it seemed like something that they needed to like really dig in and work hard on, and they were just like, we plan on digging in and working hard on this at some point, but later. Right now, let's just do a software solution. We'll let the TV manufacturers worry about the hardware.
Yeah, I said it the last time. The tech just isn't there yet.
Yeah,
the tech that's there gets too hot.
I said, yeah, my microphone was totally away from my face.
Yeah, because I remember. Which was it? I want to say it was Stadia or something that had the stick, right?
Stadia. And it was just a Chromecast.
Yeah, and every time people would play games on it, would get super fucking hot.
Yep.
And it was just like, this thing is going to short out if you get at this rate. So,
but the biggest thing here... Couple. Oh my God, we got to go through these faster. Okay, let's dance around this, and then we're going to come back to it. Series X and Series S are sold right now at $100 to $200 loss for every console.
Oh wow, really?
And that probably means that the prices are going to be going up at some point in the future because we're still in a place where you can't simplify the production process to lower prices.
No, the chips are not
just
down.
too expensive.
They're still way down.
And they also said I thought this was a really interesting thing where Spencer was talking to Wall Street Journal Tech Live and talking about potential VR on Xbox consoles. And he was like, for me, building a metaverse that looks like a meeting room, I just find that's not where I want to spend most of my time. And then he said something along the lines, there was a quote in the other article that I'm not reading right now that is like, we just want to concentrate on getting 2D stuff to be as good as possible before we even like think about what to do.
It's a smart move on their part.
Yeah. Really I just got done fucking explaining how it's a real pain in the dick to get everything out and move all your furniture around to play a game.
They tried doing HoloLens,
HoloLens,
which had a lot of Halo stuff in it. I remember when they were testing it.
Yeah.
You remember the story when they're like, yeah, we got it to where you could put like a Halo waypoint somewhere in the distance in real life, and then walk up to it with your I keep saying Halo, with your HoloLens, and then be like, here I am, and then it would like go away. That was like one of their
stupid. That's really stupid.
Things where they're like, this would be really cool, but they couldn't figure out what to do with it.
Right.
Because it's like, yeah, what is the point of this?
You got to make video games that run on it, my man.
Yeah, it was kind of a stupid idea.
But the biggest thing here is that Xbox is really, really like, dude, this is crazy. Microsoft is incredibly serious about being like, once the Activision Blizzard deal is done, we are going to be bringing an Xbox store to fucking iPhones and Android phones. Like a storefront disconnected from the Google or Apple architecture to sell games on your phone. And like, if anybody actually has the fucking colossal Titan-sized balls to do this, that is Microsoft.
Well, this is what I love about this current gen is that no one is playing the same game at all right now.
Yeah.
Like, PlayStation is looking like they're somewhat doing the Game Pass thing, but they're really focused on making VR a good thing.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch is really being like, it has this portable stuff and a lot of their crazier, like, movement things going on with it, as well as being fairly affordable. And Microsoft is just like, we are just expanding in places that no one has any good way of getting to without the money we have. Because like you said, they have the giant stick that has been behind them the entire time that they just have never used until fairly recently.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, this is a quote from Spencer. We have to break the duopoly of only 2 storefronts available on the major mobile platforms. Like he's literally just like saying it out loud. I'm just like it's funny too because he criticized Apple and Google for taking 30% of all the sales, right? Yeah. Which it's funny because what was the thing? There was a thing I read before that was just like the amount of money that Apple makes on sales when they don't even develop any of this bullshit. They just run the store. Like it's kind of nuts. It's kind of like Valve, but
it's like 30%. They're trying to start charging Facebook for their
right.
Yeah, forgot what it was. The
marketplace
the marketplace or the what is it, the what's the endorsement thing or whatever it's called? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't care.
Where you pay for you pay for it to be visible to more people.
Right. Yeah,
that was something that
boost.
The boost. That's right, the boost thing. Because they weren't charging them for that originally.
Right.
And now they're like, wait, why aren't we charging them for this? So they're going to start charging them for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a whole thing.
The fact that Microsoft is willing to well, the thing is that Microsoft also there's been some people pointing out that Microsoft also takes 30% of the sales on their store, to which Microsoft responds, yes, we also take $100 to $200 loss on every single console that gets sold, which is kind of makes a point.
It does, but then you remember they're Microsoft, so that's nothing to them.
Yes.
It's dropping quarters outside.
Holy shit, we're out of time for part 1. But let me just finish this part up by saying, you guys, you people that listen to RageSelect podcast, remember deep in your heart that all of this is very interesting. None of these motherfuckers deserve your allegiance.
No.
Use them against each other. Let them fight. That is what we want. We want Microsoft to fight Apple so that developers can get a bigger share of the profit. We want Sony to make the PSVR super good so that Microsoft buys fucking Valve or something and creates a way cheaper thing. The only way that you and I, the customer, get a break is when we make these motherfuckers go up against each other, and that is what we're doing. There's no fucking putting on a t-shirt and going rah rah Sony I love you, woohoo Nintendo you're my bae. None of that bullshit, man. They would all sell you for a nickel, and we have had numerous stories to show that is 100% true.
Oh, they do it all the time.
The only reason that Phil Spencer is so chill and laid back is because he doesn't have a group of investors breathing down his neck, because Microsoft is already one of the richest corporations in the entire world.
Plus, everyone seems to trust the man.
Yes. Because he's super chill and laid back. And
he's super chilled, yeah.
And he's able to just be like, man, whatever, man. Here, have some more games. Have some more games. Have some more games.
Have Keanu Reeves. It's what's happening?
He's like the super chill uncle. He doesn't have to be around for your shit. No. He just comes over and gives you a cool bunch of fireworks. And you're like, crazy, great. Yeah. Also, I'm not saying don't love your uncle. Uncles need love too.
We never said that. Why would we say that?
I just want to make the implication that my Phil Spencer is your uncle thing. Does it?
I thought you were going to say your uncle's Microsoft.
Okay, listen, we're wandering into really unpleasant waters here. So we're going to take a break so that I can collect myself and get my metaphors in fucking order. We'll be back in just a second. I got my metaphors all in order. They're all just lined up.
What about the similes?
Just like gravy on a table. That's what they're like. Oh boy. And just like every week on the RageSelect podcast, I have too many news stories, so we're going to start whipping through them. A lot of this is just shade. We're going to be throwing a lot of shade at a lot of the hot new multiplayer games are going to get a lot of shade.
There's so much shade, the Flash is out. I was searching for it.
That's right. That metaphor is great. Halo Infinite is getting a rebuild of this was back when we were segueing from Microsoft. So Halo Infinite is getting a new a bunch of new updates. One of the things they're adding is Match XP. I wanted you to explain this to me. You're telling me that before the only way to get XP in the Halo multiplayer was to do like challenges and shit?
Yes. So you remember? Okay. So you remember when they added? Okay. Sorry, let me start over. So the way you got XP originally in Halo Infinite was only the challenges.
Yes.
And so people hated that.
Yes.
So they came out with that thing where they're like, well, here's the deal. So we're going to give you 5 different ones. So when you first play, you'll get a giant chunk. And then the more you play, you get like less and less, and then you only get like 50, I think. But that was all you got. But that wasn't really a match thing so much as it was like a pity XP,
right? If
that makes sense. So all the big chunks came from your challenges.
Okay.
And once you were done with your challenges, all you had were the pity ones. So it was just like there was no way to get a giant chunk of them again. You were only getting like small bits, so it destroyed the point of having to play past the challenges for the day or the week.
Okay.
So this would make sense that people would want this because you want to be able to get experience based on how well you did in the match.
Right.
Because none of the things that I mentioned were based on how well you did in the match.
Okay.
It was just for the fuck of it.
Okay.
This is really what it comes down to.
So now, there's a winter update. We're going to be getting that. There's like a new battle pass. There's some new stuff. They're trying, because apparently Halo Infinite has a kind of like a crappy, a crappier reputation than the previous Halos do, just because they've had to integrate so much of this free-to-play stuff in that it's made it feel gross to some of the people that like it.
Well, the main issue is that is the customization stuff is all 90% of it is payable things.
Yeah.
So you can't just be like, I want this armor, and it's like, great, give me $20. And then, or you're like, I want this color. That's awesome. Give me $5. Like,
right.
Instead of just playing the game and getting some of these colors,
getting cool stuff.
Yeah, instead of just getting cool stuff. Because in Halo, you can mix and match colors. You could be like, I want to be red and blue, whereas in this one, you have to like hope they're selling a color that's red and blue,
right?
And hope that it's red and blue in the places you want it to be red and blue. Kind of thing. Like, for instance, I have an outfit that I'm like, I like this color, but I have one giant part of my crotch that's bright fucking blue when I'm wearing it. So it's just kind of weird to look at. Where then you'll look at another one, you're like, this looks really cool, but like I can't if I put on some specific part, it covers a lot of the color. And it's like there's too many issues with it that are just like, this is just kind of annoying. And there's not enough maps either.
Yeah.
They add some new maps, but then they tie some of those maps to specific game types.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, what the fuck is the point of adding this map if I can't just do it in Slayer?
Yeah.
You have to do your weird battle royale to do this one map, or like a big team battle to do this one map, and so forth and so forth. And so it's just been a pain in the ass for everyone. Yeah. And the fact that there's still plenty of features that are still not there yet.
Oh, they canceled the mission co-op, right?
Yeah,
like just fully canceled it.
Yeah, they canceled a bunch of just random shit, and
they didn't put that fucking third-person mode in that we looked at. That looked cool as hell.
That looked really cool. And Forge isn't even out yet, so you can't even just play custom maps.
Right.
So we're in a weird lull where this is still basically a beta, and it's just, I haven't touched Halo Infinite in months. And whereas when it first came out,
too much Overwatch 2.
No, luckily no. But you remember when Halo Infinite came out? Every other day I was like, oh, I played Halo Infinite over the weekend. And listened to some podcasts and played Halo Infinite. Haven't had the urge to do that at all.
Well, there's also, I mean, again, it's worth pointing out. I mean, we can't linger too much, but it's worth pointing out that like. There's a lot of competition right now.
Yes,
like there's
like Overwatch too.
There's a lot of competition for people. I mean, not even that, but like, for you actually will play multiplayer games. So there was like Evil Dead, there was Ghostbusters, there was like other stuff out there that like made a better case for like, hey, come play this game as opposed to this one where you're putting up with a bunch of bullshit that's kind of fucked up and broken.
Yeah.
Why not come play this one that's just fun? So
and that was the thing about Infinite that it was keeping it alive longer than it would have been was because Battlefield came out at the same time.
Right.
And it was a terrible shit show compared to them. But now it's like, now everyone's starting to notice Halo Infinite wasn't all that much better.
Right. It
was just fun to play, and that was the only thing it had going for it.
Let's see from there. Overwatch 2 has a new producer. Which I don't know. Hopefully, will do something better. Jared Nuis, who was like, this is one of those things where maybe this will work because they were previously a producer on Destiny 2, League of Legends, and they even had a little time with online features for Halo 5 Guardians and even Peggle 2 back in the day.
That's interesting.
Like, the thing is, I was thinking about this when we were talking about Halo, is that, like, you know, the gamers have spoken and said boo to your loot boxes, and then like one person did a battle pass right with Fortnite, and everybody else was like, what if we did that but it was way shittier? And then also, what if we made a store where you could buy stuff but it was also shitty? And then it's just like gamers, everyone disliked that.
Yeah.
And then surprise Pikachu face, and it's like, you know, we can tell when we're getting ripped off, you guys.
No.
Like
one of the main reasons I realized that some of the stuff worked in Fortnite is because I forgot they were all small teenagers.
Yep.
For the most part, that were playing these games who don't know how money works. And so what happened was that they put all this stuff into games where people are much more older who know how money works. And now they're like, whoa, have you been doing this the whole time and we just didn't notice? Because this is some bullshit.
This is some straight up bullshit.
It's been an interesting time.
So I'm hoping that this is going to be somebody who's like, you know, who spent a long time with Destiny 2 and is like, okay, guys, look, we went through this with Destiny 2. You can't get you can't skin every sheep that comes into the lobby, or else you're just gonna like end up losing money in the long term that you could have if you just gave people enough so that they didn't feel like garbage when they were playing your game.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm hoping that will work. That's the good news for Overwatch. The bad news, Michael, I don't know if you know this, but
what did they do now?
They took May out because she's also broken.
So I found out something funny about this thanks to Twitter.
Yeah.
It turns out it's not because May's broken.
Yeah.
It's because it turns out Kariko is broken.
Right.
So that's the funniest fucking thing about the entire thing.
No, apparently they're both broken in the same way, but they aren't taking out Kuriko because she has a bunch of shit on the battle pass that you would want to play.
You have to pay for her.
Yes.
At the moment.
Yes.
So it would be a real bad idea to do that to her.
Yes.
And so they took out May instead.
Yes.
Because this glitch only works if you have both of them at the same time.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, the article that I was reading said that, like, or it was a comment from the article that I was reading said that, like, no, straight up Kuriko is still broken and can get outside of the geometry by herself.
Okay.
It's just they didn't take her out because she is a draw for microtransactions, whereas May is not.
Well, the thing is that the reason they took May out was because if you have the two of them together, Kuriko can get out even easier.
Oh, okay.
Because what it is that
her ice wall
come up, and Kuriko can like get on it and then get to the outside of the bounds and then stay there. But the thing is that without Kuriko, May's not broken. It's just she just has her normal ice wall. So they took her out to try to mitigate the brokenness of Kuriko.
Okay. Well, this article had a different take, but I could be wrong.
This is according to a bunch of people on Twitter because people were talking about the fact that, hey, it's suspicious that May is gone, even though the fact that this is mostly a Kuriko issue.
Right. In any case, something that never happened with original Overwatch. This is the third character to get fucking shut down. And
did they even bring back the other two?
Yeah, Bastion and Torbjorn are both supposed to be back, but May is out now and should be back sometime in December. Which is like, oh, wait a minute. No. Like, next week May should be back.
It reminds me of like those things when you're like in school or something and they're like, what happened to so-and-so? They went to Europe or whatever.
Right.
And then they come back all fucked up and you're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And you find out some weird shit. And then that just keeps happening here.
Yep.
Where they're just like, what happened to so-and-so? Things happened. And then they come back with like as a different person and you're like, what happened here?
Yeah. Well, it seems to me like it just doesn't make as much sense the amount of downtime that they're making, especially with a launch title that is right in the middle of like a special event, that they should be like hammering. They should be like all hands on deck. We're working weekends to fucking fix this shit. It's not going to take like a month. It's going to take like 4 days because we realize that removing characters from the roster of a character hero shooter is a bad thing.
That's a super bad thing.
Especially because people have like mains. Not maze, but mains that they like always play as.
Well, it's like playing a Halo game, and they're like, "Well, the sniper's broken, so we took out the sniper rifle."
Right.
It's like, why would you do that?
Right.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
But it's more like we took out the sniper rifle, and it'll be back in March.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like wait, what? No, wait, it'll be back. Like I gotta understand. You found a bug. You need to squash the bug.
Yeah.
Squash the bug.
I'm fine with squashing the bug.
No problem.
But yeah, if you took it out, and then you're like, "Well, you're probably never going to see it again for a long time." It's like, well, why?
Right.
Why is that a thing?
Yep.
Like you should have. There should, yeah, like you said, there should be people on top of this. Especially with this much eyes on this thing.
Yep.
because it's if it was Overwatch 1, people probably would be a little more forgiving of it because like Overwatch 1 had been out for a long time, and B, they probably would have been a lot more incentively giving things out. Where this is, they're just like, we're just taking things out.
I think it's weird because on any normal online multiplayer game, that when you launch, you're going to find your players are going to find stuff that your QA department can't find because they literally just don't try every insane thing, right? But the thing is that when that happens, you need to have a response that is not just like take this out of the game, like. I don't know. I'm probably just making shit up, but it seems to me like it's like, well, Christmas is coming up. We've got to work on the fucking holiday content. And so, 2/3 of the team is crunching to try to get the holiday battle pass ready to go. So we're just going to give this to these B team guys over here. Just turn May off for a little while, and then we'll see when we can get her back in the game, as opposed to...
A lot of times we've seen people just turn off their game for like a day.
Right.
And then they come back because they found some glitch and they fixed it.
Yeah.
These must be incredibly... insane glitches for these people if it's taking them this long to fix these things.
Must be so built into the fundamentals of the code that it's like what you've got to like fix it and then test the entire game from scratch to make sure that you didn't break everything else when you fixed May's ice wall. Like what?
And you also, if you're fundamentally changing it, it could also change the way they play.
True.
And so there's so many fucking tricky things based on this, which is why I'm not like 100% begrudging them. But if I was playing Overwatch 2, I would be upset about this. I'm not, luckily, so I don't give a fuck. But I feel real bad for every Overwatch fan out there.
Okay, well here, okay, so that was slightly shady, but I got more shade. I got 2 more shades for Overwatch. All right. Next, I don't know if you saw this, but some people did the math and determined that you might be able to get Overwatch 2 skins faster by playing World of Warcraft.
I'm sorry, what? What does that mean?
So, World of Warcraft has the ability to take the gold from World of Warcraft and convert it into these tokens. And then those tokens can be essentially redeemed in BattleNet for money that can then be used to pay for your WoW subscription. So you can pay for your WoW subscription by playing WoW, which is something that's been around for a long time. However, because the BattleNet subscription is tied to all of Blizzard's games, it means you can also take that money that got deposited into your wallet and spend it on Overwatch gold. And then use that Overwatch gold to buy the skins in Overwatch, thereby paying for your Overwatch skins with WoW money.
That's amazing. Insane, but kind of amazing.
Yes. Now, there's a big article. This has been all over the place. This was from a Polygon article, the one that I read, that really broke it down in like really, really, really like excruciating detail that was making my eyes glaze over to read.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the question is it faster to buy? Because the other thing is that like since you're limited to a certain number of coins a week in Overwatch, this is fucking ridiculous. It was just like I was reading the numbers on
the amount of coins you earn in Overwatch.
Right. The coins you can earn are capped every week, and so it's like you get 60 coins per week, which like 100 coins are $1, so it's like 60 cents. So if you were looking to buy a $10 skin for Overwatch 2, it would take you 17 weeks to grind out the coins to get it. If you wanted to buy a legendary skin, it would take you 32 weeks of grinding in Overwatch 2 to get it. This is what I'm talking about with that greedy bullshit. Yeah. So this article basically breaks down all the math and says that like, yes, it would be faster to earn the money in WoW, but there's some caveats to that. One is that you have to have a very high level character. You have to know what you're doing. And in a lot of ways, you can farm gold in WoW, but you have to farm gold. Like you're not playing the game. You're just like farming.
It's a job at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
And it finds that if you just try to kind of do like the daily tasks and stuff, you can also earn enough gold in WoW to be able to do that. Also, you have to take into account if you're paying for your WoW subscription with the gold that you've earned, then you have to earn twice as much in order to have the excess money to be able to buy Overwatch skins with. But it is possible. It's probably not fun, but it should still theoretically be faster than playing Overwatch 2.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. The fact that's even a thing is kind of amazing.
Yeah. All right. I got one more.
Okay, what is it this time?
You ready? Okay. Microtransactions in Overwatch 2 shade. So,
oh god,
Blizzard sells this little gun charm that's like one of the little characters. It's like a little flower guy with tentacles.
Yeah.
And it sells this charm in real life. And in real life, this charm costs $5. On the Overwatch store, it costs the coin equivalent of $7, which you cannot buy because you can only buy coins in packs of 5, 10, 20, etc.
Yeah, so you'd have to spend
it costs
10.
$10. So buying this charm costs less money in the real world than it does in Overwatch 2.
Oh my god. That's fucking insane. What the fuck, Blizzard?
These are not the stories you want, Blizzard. How, Michael? How has it been in the course of like 3 years that you and I have been doing this, where it's like, how has Blizzard become the biggest turd show on this for gaming? Like, it's everything they do sucks. They've got the reverse Midas touch. Everything they touch turns to shit. Like,
pretty much. God damn, I'm so surprised by this. Or not surprised. I want to say I'm surprised by this. God damn it. I don't know what to say other than what the fuck is wrong with you people?
It's got to be.
How does this keep happening?
I think it's because they got bought by Activision. Activision is run by a bunch of fucking money hungry crazy people. Because now we're going to shift gears from Blizzard to Activision.
Oh God.
So here we have something that is cheaper to buy in real life than it is in the game, and that is also true for this Burger King skin for Modern Warfare 2.
The what?
So there is this skin for Modern Warfare. I'm gonna move Modern Warfare 2, Overwatch 2, Activision. It's all gonna be fucked up in my head. It's this dude. He's wearing a Burger Town shirt. That's the Burger King from Modern Warfare 2, right? He's got a sick mustache. He looks a lot like Dr. Disrespect.
He really does.
Really weird. And apparently, this skin is available if you buy the fucking Whopper combo at Burger King, and you get a code that you can redeem in the game for this burger skin. However, this Burger King meal is not available in like America.
It's not available in America?
No.
What the fuck? The Burger King burger is not available in America.
Yes. Let's see if I can find here. 39 countries, excluding the U.S. and the U.K.
The two fucking what?
So
how the fuck did that happen?
So people in the U.S. and the U.K. are buying these codes from people in other regions on eBay, and they're going for like $40 or $50. Like, they're going for the cost of half the game / almost the entire game.
Why?
Because people can charge for them, because that's what the going rate is.
No, I'm more confused as to how the Burger King thing happened. What the fuck?
Well, we're dealing with a company who can't be bothered to think. Fucking it's just doing the invincible meme, right? Like, just think, Mark, like, who likes hamburgers? Is it America? Like, maybe you should get this deal worked out with United States Burger King before you fucking launch the game. Like,
what the fuck?
God damn.
That is the weirdest fucking thing I've heard.
God damn.
That's so weird.
Yep. It's in France and the Netherlands and Australia and a whole bunch of places. Not the United States.
When you showed me the story's headline, I didn't expect it to be, oh, by the way, this isn't an American thing.
Yep.
The Burger King thing is not an American thing.
Call of Duty's Burger King skin is getting sold for half the cost of the game.
The fuck, man.
All right. But we're not even done yet. We've got so many. There's so many of these this week. This is going to be the theme this entire week. Modern Warfare 2 has crossplay force-enabled on the PC, and there is no way to turn it off.
Wait, on the PC?
Yes. On the Xbox, at a system level, you can set crossplay turned off.
Oh, that was something that they discovered before, right?
In the beta, in the game, there was an option to turn crossplay off.
Oh, no.
But when it launched, there was an option to turn crossplay off. And then the first update that happened a few days after they launched, this option was removed. Now,
Why?
people are not sure whether it is a bug or whether it is like something, but on the PC, there is no menu option in the game to turn crossplay off. On the PlayStation, there is. On the Xbox, there is a system-wide option to just disable crossplay entirely, but PC players can't turn off crossplay.
What the fuck? That's amazing.
There's also like some kind of anger about how, like, you know, this probably should have showed up. Oh no! Wait a minute. Hold on. Sorry. This was from redact. This was from the get-go. This was there from the very beginning. There wasn't an update. This was from the very beginning.
From the crossplay thing?
Yes. The next story happened after the game launched. So this was from Jump Street.
Still kind of fucking weird though that the PlayStation has it, but the other ones do. The other two don't.
Very strange. Very, very weird. I have no idea what the fuck. It's a strange shit show. So that.
So weird.
Continuing. Family sharing was what I was talking about that was pulled from Modern Warfare 2.
Explain to me what family sharing is.
So if you have Steam, you have the ability to turn on a thing called family sharing, where you can literally share the game to 5 other Steam users of your choice who can download the game and play it. The main thing is that you can't be playing at the same time. So a lot of people are saying, well, Call of Duty, like the new one, is $70. I think it's one of the first times it's $70 on PC.
Yeah.
And then like there's the big edition, right, with the season pass and everything, is like $100. And people are like, man, that's hefty Call of Duty. So like, hey, there was a lot of stories about like, well, I work, right, but my nephew wants to play Call of Duty, so I will let him play it during the day, and then like 7 o'clock, I will come on to Steam and be like, all right, Timmy, get the fuck off. It's time for Daddy to play, Uncle Daddy.
Uncle Microsoft
to go play to play Call of Duty. So yes, but this was the one where it launched with this feature, and then 3 days after that it was turned off.
3 days?
Yes, which made a lot of Steam users mad, because they were like, if I had purchased this and this hadn't been available, I would have refunded it. But now that I played enough that I am no longer eligible for Steam's refund policy, you have now removed this option that I was using previously.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to make assumptions, but I'm going to. Seems like a move where they launched it. They saw people were sharing the copy to mitigate the cost, and they were like, fuck those peasants. Turn that off. Patch it out. Patch it out within 3 days. I know it's going to take us a month and a half to get May working again, but no, you make that shit work right away. Also, turn off all the codes from Australia and the United States when they try to get the Burger Man. like it just seems really...
Bobby Kotick wants this done today.
Right. It just seems like, oh man, they could really get their asses in gear when it comes to turning off features.
Jesus Christ.
So, yeah.
That's really shitty of them.
Yeah. Is this changing your mind about purchasing Modern Warfare 2? You're not going to purchase Modern Warfare 2.
I never was going to fucking purchase Modern Warfare 2.
All the scuttlebutt seems to say that the single player campaign is pretty cool in Modern Warfare 2.
I haven't bought a I haven't bought a Call of Duty game since our World at War.
Oh, okay.
That was the last one I played.
Yeah.
It's a long ass time ago.
So now let's switch gears again. We're not switching out of the Call of Duty gear. We're now switching from the Activision Blizzard and the management and the choices they make are stupid to the players of Call of Duty are stupid.
Oh God, what did they do now?
Well,
besides buy the game, by the way.
One player in particular purchased the game on Battle.net for $70. They were banned. They appealed their ban, and automatically their appeal was rejected. Right now, Call of Duty just launched. Everything's going fucking crazy. They have actually said, like, we are having a hard time working through these things. We will probably get to them at a certain point, but there's like 1 million people, because they also have all that new copyright shit, or the new anti-cheat shit that's out there.
And then there's the phone stuff for the PC version.
Right. Well, Smarty Pants Magoo over here got his copy of Call of Duty banned on Battle.net and went, okay. And he created a new Steam account and he bought a second copy of the game for $70 on Steam.
Oh my god!
Now, Smarty Pants didn't look into the way that most anti-cheat software works, with the fact that it takes like a snapshot of your hardware and your MAC address and stuff like that. So he bought his $70 copy. He went online and was immediately banned, and that copy was turned off and disabled for online play. So those are bad decisions. But all of that led to this genius who decided, nobody will respond to my emails, and I want to play Call of Duty really bad. So I'm going to drive to the Austin, Texas development studio of the developers and try to go in and talk to them in real life. Which didn't happen because the security guard outside was like, I'm sorry, what are you here for? And they were like, well, I bought 2 copies of Call of Duty. I'm trying to go in. I got banned. I don't want to be banned. And they were like, no.
That's not how this works.
No.
Where was this guy from?
Austin.
Was he from Austin?
Or I don't know if he drove.
Or did he like fucking come here?
I don't know. I don't
from
know
like
if he
a different city.
I don't know if he drove. That's a different story. That was the wrong story. Yes. So it was deleted. It was a Reddit post, but he talked about, I went to the Blizzard office in Austin, Texas. So like, probably from somewhere around here.
That's if he's from here or within the area.
Yeah,
but
apparently he got stopped by the security guard. He explained the matter. The security guard was like, "Okay, I will go inside and tell them." They're probably not going to talk to you. He went inside and told them, and they were like, yes, we're working through a backlog of complaints like this. We will not come outside and talk to you. But the thing is that, like, this guy's Reddit post is just, it's so, like I spent $140 on Call of Duty, and I want to play Call of Duty, and, like, the security guard is like, you should just like wait and they'll sort it out eventually. Maybe like go outside or something. And he's like,
play one of the other things that just
right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
This isn't I want to say this surprises me, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because John used to work for Blizzard's customer support many moons ago.
Yep.
And he has a story just like this that was involved a gun.
Don't do this. Like,
don't do it.
The thing is that no matter like, if you like, let's say that this guy went to this office, and let's say that they even like talked to him and capitulated to what he was asking and unbanned him. If that story ever got out, they would need a lot more security guards because fucking Call of Duty is like one of the best-selling things on the planet, and weird nerdos, people went to Valve just to be like, hey, fix Team Fortress 2. And Gabe Newell had to come out and be like, go away. Chew off. Fuck off.
I'm counting my money, damn you.
But like,
I was swimming in it.
Don't do this. There's no way to tell a regular person with a legitimate grievance from a crazy person who has come to set the building on fire because you nerfed their favorite submachine gun. Like, there's no way to know the difference between those two things.
Well, the thing is, the customer support for games and stuff like that, they're not like a Target customer service kiosk area where there's a guy there who you talk to and he does the returns and stuff. That's not how that works.
Did you think you were going to walk into the, like, studio?
Yeah, you're gonna walk up to the whoever fucking's there and expect like an actual Target desk,
right?
Of like, hi, I'm Mr. Activision support dude. How can I help you today? Like, that's not what that area is for at all.
Like, the thing is that even if you managed to go inside of the building, you would go to the studio, right? You would walk in the front door, and there would be a receptionist.
And that's
there.
If it was a studio, by the way,
right?
Odds are it was just some random fucking call center,
right?
As the other thing.
But if you go in. First off, if it's a random fucking call center, you're going to get the cops calling you immediately.
Yes.
If there's a receptionist there, they're going to tell you, no, thank you, goodbye. And then if you're like, well, I'm not leaving until I talk to somebody, again, the cops are coming.
Yes.
Like, getting stopped by a security guard, this is the best thing that could have happened to you.
The best case scenario is this guy just going shoo.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, that's great. Wait right there while we get somebody to help you. And then like a guy shows up and takes out your kneecaps.
Don't go to people's houses and don't go to people's places of business. Don't do it.
Yeah, unless there's literally like again a place like that's their customer service desk that is at that location, there's no reason to go there for customer service that way.
Yeah,
part of how that works.
Part of this guy's response was just like, yeah, I emailed them, they declined my claim, and they don't even have a phone number I can call. And it's just like, as somebody who used to work in customer service, I can say that, like, 80% of the people that need customer service, they don't deserve customer service.
For the most part, they don't. A lot of them just aren't patient enough for processes, and then they don't understand how processes work.
Yeah,
because they think they're the only person that's ever contacted them at some point.
Sure.
And there's a button that just says, "Oh, that's great. All of your issues are now fixed."
Yeah,
never been a thing.
Unless it turns out that this was Randy when he turned into Karen in South Park.
That would be pretty funny.
Let's see. We also got, oh God, there's so much. Yep. We also have more news. Apparently Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has a level that takes place inside of a hotel that is so close to an actual hotel in Amsterdam that the hotel is going to take legal action against Activision because they set a Call of Duty level inside of a place where they just went in, took a bunch of pictures, and basically replicated this hotel. And then a huge firefight ensues where a bunch of people get shot and everything gets blown up and exploded. And the hotel is like, no. No.
Yeah, apparently this keeps happening where game studios don't seem to bother asking the people what the idea would be. Because I heard about one, I don't remember what game it was, but it was like a guy put like a Reddit post where he's like, hey, I just found this out. A game uses my actual address as a place where terrorists lived in the story mode. So Jesus. I need to, like, should I sue them? Because what the fuck kind of thing.
Right.
And it's like a quick thing too. It's not like they say his name. It's not like they say it out loud, but you see like an image that says it on there as as an ID. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, game studios are cutting corners more and more. Like, what happened was it Resident Evil that did that one where they got caught using that guy's, like, book of, like, background stuff?
No, it was a lady. It was a lady. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, they're cutting corners more and more. And even that Resident Evil one was a long time ago, technically. But this is like, guys, what the fuck?
Yeah. Apparently it's just like they renamed the hotel to a different hotel, but like I can't find like a good comparison, but if you look at it, like it's just this hotel. So yep. All right, we got one more Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2 has a bug right now that lets you farm pretty decent XP in a really interesting way.
Really?
So apparently there's a suppression mine. You put a suppression mine on an enemy NPC tank, it counts as like suppressing the people in the tank. And I'll show you the video, Michael. It's hard to do because you do it on a very specific multiplayer map, but when you do it, you could see
oh my god
that the enemies don't ever get out of the tank, but they keep counting as being suppressed, and so you just start fucking leveling up as long as the mine is sitting on top of this tank suppressing them, just like
so much. It's just so and then levels up whatever gun you're holding.
Yep. So hard to pull off, but maybe worth it.
That's kind of amazing.
Okay, so now that we wasted all our time talking about Overwatch and Modern Warfare 2, it's time to cut the corners on all the rest of the stuff. Michael, the Callisto Protocol will not be coming out in Japan.
Ooh.
Apparently, the Japanese censors said it was too violent for their highest rating, which is Sero Z. And the makers of the Callisto Protocol were like, we're not going to tone it down, so go eat a bag of dicks.
Wow, Japan, you of all people are like, that's too much.
Yeah, apparently, like, there's some very specific stuff about certain types of gore and dismemberment that specifically is taboo.
Okay.
Like, apparently all dismemberment in The Last of Us 2 was removed in the Japanese version that came out.
Oh, I remember hearing about something like that.
Yeah. Whereas the Callisto Protocol has been doing, like, a press tour talking about how they make, like, the gory chunks that come out, and they've got, like, specific engines that are set up to make the bones break the right way and then make the gore glisten off of them. And Japan is like, no, tone it down. And they're like, go fuck yourself!
That's pretty much them being like, look, we put too much work into the gore that we can't take the gore out.
Yep. Also, I mean, I wonder at some points where it was like like how I wonder how well this was going to sell in Japan, and that the people in Japan that want to play it are probably just going to import it anyway. And so
a lot of these are region free, for as far as I know.
Yeah,
so they'll probably be fine.
Oh, also, yeah, they edited out the sex scene in Last of Us Part 2.
Again, what a weird thing.
Japan is very weird about that. Yeah,
Japan
like
is strange.
They're very strange about what type of stuff.
I've watched your animes where you'll sexualize the weirdest possible things, but two consenting adults have sex and you fucking lose your mind.
Like, no.
But what if there were tentacle people? You would have been cool with that.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdos. I'm just.
I mean,
disclaimer, I'm not entirely saying they're fucking weirdos.
It's like, you're kidding, but only a little bit.
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit
Only
kidding.
a bit.
Some of this stuff is like, I've seen what you allow and like what you ban. And this equation doesn't equal. There's no equal sign between the two of them.
The equation has never made sense to me.
Yeah,
I know partially of that's post World War II American fault. But again, still,
I played Senran Kagura. I don't understand how watching two people have sex could be any hornier than the fucking flappy titties or the attacks where you've got to put somebody on a fucking like mechanical bull until they come. Like there's plenty of these games where it's just like, oh look, this devil needs a massage. You've got to massage them until they moan like they're having an orgasm. But like two adults having sex, whoa there, big boy. Hold on, what do you think this is? A porno? And it's like, yes, I do think that this is a porno because of every other thing that's happened. Like,
you've made so many other things, guys. Yeah. What the fuck?
Seriously.
Let your 17-year-olds smoke an anime.
Yeah. Yeah, the gore in JoJo's was censored out.
Yeah,
it was so weird.
I don't know. It's weird because they pulled back on a lot of gore stuff.
Yeah,
because I watch a lot of animes now, and they're like,
you're not watching Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is buckets and buckets.
Well, I mean, some of the more popular ones again.
Yeah,
because Dragon Ball used to have like a lot of blood in it, but then you watch Dragon Ball Super, and it's like not nearly as much as they used to have.
To get the blood back into children's programming.
They do.
We need to do it.
They really do.
Let's see. From there, we got the news from EA that there are 3 new Marvel games in development. So
really,
we've got the Iron Man game that was announced previously, but that there are 2 more. So EA Motive, the ones that are doing the Dead Space remake, which would have been a better segue than me just talking about this. Are going to be making that game, but then they also have more stuff coming out.
Do we have any hints or anything, or just that's the announcement?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that one of those is also the Black Panther game, the Black Panther and Captain America game.
Oh, is that them?
I believe so. I believe EA is publishing that. But then there's a third one that we have just basically no information. That was like,
gotcha,
just a thing.
Howard the Duck game.
Yeah. Could be.
I knew it.
Who knows? We also got the news that
a Galactus cooking simulator
from EA, based on this kind of like projecting forward their business, that there's one big game is coming out in the last quarter of the year, so between January and March. People are thinking that it's probably Jedi Survivor, but it could be some other stuff because they haven't been specific about it. Because Need for Speed Unbound is on December 2nd, Dead Space is on January 27th, and then that Monster Hunter Wild Hearts is on February. But then there's one more that hasn't been accounted for. That's an open slot that's supposed to have a AAA game in it. It's probably this new game. It could be that Skate game, depending on how far along it is. But those are kind of the only things that we know about, unless it's something just completely new.
That's I don't know. We've seen weirder things happen.
Yep.
Something would just pop up that no one had any idea it was existing.
Absolutely. It's just weird because like EA has spent most of this year with their head down trying to fix Battlefield 2042. Like, it
has been interesting.
It's been strange.
They also keep trying to get people to buy them.
Yeah.
Is the other thing that's kind of funny.
It's a little strange. Let's see. There's some fuckery happening at Eidos Montreal. So there was... Let's see. There's good news and bad news. What do you want to hear? You want to hear good news or you want to hear bad news?
Let's hear the good news first.
The good news...
Because we've heard a lot of just weird shit lately.
According to Jason Schreier, is that apparently Eidos Montreal is in the early days of creating the next Deus Ex game.
Oh, that is.
Yep. Very early. People keep tweeting at the Adam Jensen voice actor on Twitter, and he's just like, I don't know anything. Nobody's talked to me. I don't know if he's in the game. I don't know if he's not in the game. It's like they are very early on. Nobody has talked to me. I don't know. Quit asking.
It could be a reboot. It could be a different part of the world.
He didn't ask for this, you guys.
He did not ask for this. He's hoping, though.
Yes. So that's the good news. The bad news is that Square Enix Montreal, which 2 months ago rebranded to Onoma, has been dissolved by Embracer Group.
Oh, that's interesting.
Square Enix Montreal was the studio. I don't want to be a shit about this, but I don't really care all that much. Not that I don't care about being a shit. It's just that was the studio that made Lara Croft Go, Hitman Go, Deus Ex Go, like a bunch of the mobile tie-in games.
Oh, okay.
So, like,
it's only a bummer in the fact that people really like those games,
right?
But it's not a bummer in the fact that they probably this means Embracer doesn't care about mobile,
yes,
which is fascinating to be honest.
Yep. There was an Avatar, the last Airbender Android game they were working on. That's been
that's weird.
Like, and then like some of the staff from Onoma are going to be integrated into Eidos Montreal, but some of them are just going to get laid off. That sucks. I didn't have a dog in that studio's fight, so I'm kind of a little like, meh.
I don't either, but there's plenty of game studios that are looking for mobile people.
Yep.
So I have a feeling they're going to land back on their feet just fine.
There's also apparently there was an unannounced Kids on Bikes Stranger Things style game that Eidos was working on, which has been canceled. And then they were also doing apparently some outsource work for Xbox for the new Fable game.
Okay.
Like they're working, it sounds like a work for hire thing where they're doing like generation and programming and to pay the bills while they get a new fucking Deus Ex game together, type of thing. So I don't know. That's maybe good news. I'm hoping that Embracer continues their, like, Embracer shutting this down is not the friendliest move in the world, but it's also not like completely incomprehensible.
Honestly,
right?
It's like when you're watching a movie and then like one of the characters dies, but it's the one that no one gave a shit about.
Right.
And you're like, oh, that sucks. But, I think the rest are safe.
Right. Yeah. So, yep, that happened. Another thing that happened in Montreal was Virtuous Montreal, which is a game company I had never fucking heard of before.
I still don't know who they are.
Had a thing where they put out a kind of like a hype video, and one of the things in that hype video was a picture of like a concept artist desk, and it had the art of Metal Gear Solid like underneath a lamp, and people think that this may indicate that this studio is doing a remake of Metal Gear Solid.
Or maybe that guy just really likes the art of Metal Gear Solid.
He likes the art of Metal Gear Solid. Everybody, of course, because it's Metal Gear, right? Everybody has to read in a million to, like, anything shows up. It's like Bloodborne fandom, right? Where like one crumb drops, we're all just like, what does it mean? What does it mean?
My favorite thing about that is that only made sense because Kojima was the one making them.
Right.
And if he's never not involved, then that's when you should stop doing that.
The thing that's really interesting is Virtuos Montreal, Michael, is really weird.
What is it that they've done?
They're a support group that does like let's say you're making a game and you want like a whole mini game of like crafting. It's in it, but you are a smaller team and you don't have time for that. You literally contract them to come in and do the entire crafting mini game, like while you and work with your developers. Or let's say you're making like the Xbox and PS5 version of your game, but you need a PC port of it. They'll come in and do that for you.
Oh,
they're like these hired guns. And what's really interesting is that they have this kind of like portfolio. They talk about, high quality and like, one of the other things they talk about is taking older games and like remastering them, which is why people think that this might be Konami outsourcing to a company like with Silent Hill to do a remake of Metal Gear Solid so that they don't have to do it, but they can still rake in the money. Yeah. But then like we're on the Virtuos website. Look at their portfolio, Michael.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like,
that's a hell of a portfolio.
Outer Worlds, Outriders, Final Fantasy Zodiac Age, Dark Souls Remastered, Marvel's Avengers, Call of Duty Warzone, Destroy All Humans, Grounded, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Horizon Zero Dawn. Like
there's a lot of shit.
And then this is like art production and their projects for art production. Horizon Forbidden West, Ratchet and Clank, Devil May Cry 5, Demon Souls Remake. Like,
wow,
League of Legends.
I've never heard of these guys.
Yeah, they're very much like one of those groups that's doing like yeoman's work that you just have never fucking heard of before, because you know what? They come up in that second screen that comes up that's got a big list of sub companies, and you see their super fucking generic logo that you could look at and just completely gloss over, and you've never heard of them before.
Good for them.
So I actually think this is more plausible than the
Blue Point thing?
Not Blue Point, Blue whatever.
The box thing.
Right.
I don't remember the name of it.
With those other guys. So
I read an interview with Kojima, and he's like, people just kept sending me that shit thinking it was a thing, and I'm like, no.
Well, speaking of Kojima, we also got another face for the game that we don't know anything about yet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
This is Shioli Kutsuna, who's, I mean, according to this Polygon story, was in Deadpool 2.
I think Invasion. She was the girlfriend.
She was the girlfriend, right?
The girlfriend
who's just like, hi, Wade.
Yeah,
that one.
Sega, not Sega. Sonic Nega Teenage Warhead.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yes. I got the order wrong. But
so yeah, she has now been tweeted out and teased as another character. Fucking Kojima needs to just shut the fuck up and like announce. Just come on, man.
Here's the thing: maybe he already did, and we just haven't seen the clues. Because he does that shit a lot.
No, sir.
I know when they figured out Metal Gear Solid 5 was the thing by looking at the letters of his thing and like, hey, if you put this, it says Metal Gear Solid 5.
But they announced the Phantom Pain, and like 2 days later, they figured that shit out. Like,
that's true.
Again, we were just had a story about like there was a book on a guy's desk. Does that mean that Metal Gear is getting remade? Like, I think at this point that Kojima isn't giving any sly hints because he now knows that the brute force puzzle solving power of the internet will be like, some guy on Reddit saw that my shoelaces slightly resembled the kanji for like serpent, and it turns out Metal Gear Solid 6 has been confirmed.
This is why I know Ready Player One would be so much bullshit.
Yeah,
because they would have solved all of that shit within like a couple days.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Everyone would have owned the place.
Couple more stories. Speaking of Hollywood actors, Bayonetta. Okay, this is really fast. This is just an addendum. After all that bullshit that we talked about Bayonetta, Helena Taylor came out and put up a list of charities to donate money to instead of spending money on Bayonetta 3. And one of those charities, there was a lot of like kind of inferences because Helena Taylor's like a British lady, and right now the British ladies don't have like the best track record for being like super sensitive.
No, they're kind of insane, to be honest, apparently.
But like, one of these groups that she wanted to donate to was called BB for Life KY, which is Billboards for Life Kentucky, and it is one of those fucking companies that just puts up the big billboard with the baby that was like, please let me be born, and it's like fucking John 25 says like, and then God said, I'm gonna punch anybody in the dick who aborts a baby.
Oh God.
And they just put that that shit when you drive it into Memphis or whatever, or that's in Tennessee, but
well, either way,
Bowling Green,
any point of the southern areas that are not the Austin area.
And so yes, at the end of the day it was like, well, that's a shame because everybody hates those billboards. Like,
no one likes those billboards.
Yeah,
even the people who don't like abortions probably don't like those billboards.
Yeah,
because they're stupid billboards.
Anyway, that's old controversy. We got new controversy. We got one more new controversy.
Is it still her?
No,
or is it a new one?
No, we're done with Helena Taylor.
Good. I hope so.
Henry Cavill will no longer be the Witcher as of season 4 of The Witcher show on Netflix.
Man, the speculation on this one is massive.
Yep. So Liam Hemsworth has taken over as Geralt.
Hell of a downgrade, by the way.
Yeah. I don't care. I got through one season of The Witcher and I was like, yep, that's The Witcher. turns out I just don't give a shit about The Witcher. So
no, I just mean like by actor wise, because you go from like a man who's built like a tank to Liam Hemsworth.
Is he the guy from The Good Place?
No, that was that other Hemsworth,
Larry Hemsworth.
Yeah. No, this is the other brother.
He can bulk up. He can bulk up.
I forgot what he was in, but he's.
Was he in that?
I want to say he's in the Hunger Games movies.
Was he in that? Like that MMA movie?
He might have been.
Anyway,
that seems like him. He was also engaged to Hannah Montana at one point.
Cool. Good job, everybody. This is
Miley Cyrus. Sorry, I forgot her name.
This would be more of like a footnote, except for the fact that the internet has decided that they know exactly why this is happening, and that it's because Henry Cavill in an interview one time said that he gave he would try to get the writers to write him more cerebral Geralt, and he would give them notes to try to push them toward making him less of a growly murder machine and more of like a fucking philosopher warrior guy. And then there was one producer that left the show that is on the new X-Men movie that said that like the writers hate The Witcher and that they all make jokes about it and say how stupid it is in the writers' room. And so the internet has put these two data points together, and those equal. It turns out that the writers are so disrespectful about the character of Geralt in The Witcher, and that Henry Cavill can no longer protect us, the fans, from their SJW bullshit, that he has to leave.
Well, there's a third dot, though.
Yes.
The third dot was him saying, "I'll do this for 7 seasons if they want me to."
Right.
So that's why they've triangulated.
Yes.
That's the reason.
I argued with somebody. I want to make it really clear. I argued with somebody.
It's a fair assumption in some ways, because Henry Cavill's a giant fucking nerd.
Yeah.
And giant fucking nerds are the ones that will look at something and be like, I don't like what you're doing with this, so I'm going to stop. So I get their assumption based on that.
See, for me, the timing of all of this happening very close to the announcement that James Gunn is taking over the DCEU, I think there's an easier explanation, which is...
It might be both, to be honest.
Hey, The Witcher, do you want to just be Superman, but we're going to do it for real this time and not have you be a growly murder machine whose mustache has to be CGI'd out? And he's like, yes, the only thing I wanted to be more than Geralt of Rivia was fucking Superman.
That's true.
And I was never able to be the Superman that I want to be because I am a nerd. Yes, I will do it. They're like, you have to give up Witcher. Fuck The Witcher. I get to be Superman, and I get to do it for real this time.
That's the thing, is that the fucking top thing that any nerd will want to be is fucking Superman.
Yeah.
Like,
or Batman or whatever. You take your pick. Like, right.
That's the thing, is everyone's Batman. Everyone has been Batman at some point.
Sure.
But not a lot of people have been Superman.
Yep.
And that's the thing.
Yep.
If you want to be the guy and you want your face to be seen, you want to be Superman.
Especially if Henry Cavill, like, he seems like he wants to be Superman.
He's been wanting to be Superman for years.
And if he's as nerdy about Superman as he is about the Witcher stuff, then I'm sure that if he wants to come over to my house, just fucking email me, Henry. Just come on. It's open door policy. You can be on the podcast whenever you want. Or Dojo. Either way, I don't care.
He's going to want to talk about Warhammer.
That's fine. I need somebody to play Dark Tide 2. Come over and play Dark Tide 2 with me when it comes out. But no, if he was that much of a nerd about source material, then it's very possible that if Henry Cavill was here, he would have joined right in with you and I's conversations about how much we hate the Zack Snyder Superman, the idea of Superman in Zack Snyder's brain.
God, I remember the weirdest behind the scenes about the two of them was that if they got into an argument about what they wanted Superman to do, they got into push-up contests to decide who was right. This is a real thing that was in a real interview about Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill.
So I guess all I wanted to say with this is that, like, I want to make it very clear. I tussled with somebody in our Discord about this, and I don't want to seem like I'm like singling them out. What I'm saying is
the whole internet's saying this, by the way. It's not just this one person.
What I'm saying is that there's a lot of, like, over the last like 5 to 10 years, because of the weird drips and drabs and like the Kojima shit we were just talking about, a lot of times the internet has a tendency to like connect the dots that are there without realizing that there are a billion other dots that you can't see.
Yeah.
Like, it's possible that just working on The Witcher was physically taxing in a way that Henry Cavill didn't think it was going to be, and that he's fucking tired of doing it. The Superman thing could be possible. It's possible that he just was like woke up one day in a dream where Geralt fucking like stabbed him over and over again, and he woke up and he's like, I can't do that anymore. Or he saw Roach the horse smiling like that movie Smile, and he was like, no, I am out of here. This is the last season I'm working on.
That would
be
pretty impressive.
Like there's a lot of things that could cause somebody to do a thing, and the problem with the internet is that we have limited information. It's why I put so many caveats every time I say like Activision is a money hungry corporation. Like as far as I know, like it seems that way to me, but I don't know. Maybe there's a good reason for this shit, and I don't know it.
Well, that's the thing about speculation is that people want to know everything.
Yep.
And you're never going to know everything as much as you want to.
Yep.
And one of these days we may find out exactly what happened, but it might not even be for years from now.
I guess
we're still finding out stuff about behind the scenes of so many things right now.
Yeah.
Where somebody's just like, yeah, I remember I was talking to so and so, and then this is what happened, and then and that was like 10 years ago. Is what will happen.
I think the reason that I'm emphatic about that is because, I mean, speaking of 10 years ago, like, you know, I was working at Spill, and like when I was working at Spill, there were a lot of people that made a lot of assumptions about like what was happening behind the scenes. We as employees made a lot of assumptions about things that were happening behind the scenes that we didn't even know.
Yeah.
But the thing is that in a lot of cases, nobody was really right because nobody actually knew, because the best way to keep a secret is to not fucking say anything about it, right? So you just say, well, I was happy with my time. I'm passing this on to Liam Hemsworth. I wish him the best of luck. I've enjoyed my time. Thank you for all the love from the fans. Okay, bye-bye. Instead of like just being like, making a bunch of Twitter videos like Helena Taylor, and now you're the villain of the internet, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
just keep your head down, don't ruffle any feathers, and you'll get even more roles.
Yes,
that's kind of what he's at.
Yep,
and he just wants to talk about Warhammer.
And on a personal note, allow me to just say, I do not give a fuck about The Witcher. But I want to see Henry Cavill get a chance to play Superman, the one that we want, at least once in his life.
I want him to be Superman.
Like, just once.
I want him to be. I legitimately want Henry Cavill to be Superman. Like I've seen glimpses of what's possible, and I want it to happen.
Yep.
So yes, please. If he stopped Witcher because of Superman, I'm all for it.
Yep. Trailers. We have trailers. Speaking of Superman, we got trailers for Black Adam. We got the multiplayer or the multiverses gameplay trailer for Black Adam, who strangely does not look like The Rock, but looks like.
Yeah, I think that's the thing I like about multiverses is that they didn't go the Rock.
They just make
Black
him look
Adam.
like The Rock.
Yeah.
Does he have a skin to make him look like The Rock?
As far as I know, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's in Fortnite right now as The Rock.
Oh, okay.
So
it's really weird watching this trailer of watching fucking evil Shazam beat up Morty. Like.
It looks like he has a skin where he doesn't like where he has his original outfit because his current one on there is his like post New 52 one, which is that like where he has a cape and everything.
Okay. The original one doesn't have the cape.
Yeah, the original one is just like it doesn't have a cape and it's not as liney, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Because the way he looks is very the way he looks is just straight up evil Shazam.
Okay.
Whereas before that he had the very distinct look. That was still evil Shazam, but not as not as 1-to-1 look, if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
But I'm glad that skin is in there. But he apparently is fairly fun to use at the moment. I haven't tried him yet. I haven't touched multiverse.
There's also like they put in a new arcade mode, and then like what was it called, like Crazy Q or something, where it like randomizes or something. Like
they're really still putting a lot of stuff into this. They like for instance, one of the things that they're working on right now is because a lot of people hate the Scooby-Doo mansion level because of the roof. They're trying to see if they can make a version of that where it's just the stage itself and not the roof.
Okay.
So they are looking into like doing more and more things to the game, and so I'm very happy that the game is still going, and I'm curious to see who comes next because those are the only ones that we know at the moment that are confirmed that are fully released. Are those 4 characters: Rick, Morty, Stripe, and
Black Adam.
Oh, and the Gizmo. I forgot the Gizmo.
Yep.
Those are all the ones that are out at the moment.
Let's see. We also got a new Forspoken video, which had a little bit more information, and then was mostly focused on the different traversal mechanics in the game. I'm still just like really weirded out by this game. It
I was about to be like, does this sell you, Jeff?
No.
Man, picture this or whatever. I forgot what the meme's wording was, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. Yeah. To me, I guess it seems, it still just seems like a really empty world. I think that part of it is the fact that, that it looks like it seems like an emptier version of Horizon, which especially after replaying back through Elden Ring, I know it's not fair to compare stuff to like a new genre breaking entry in a genre.
But does it beat Sonic Frontier so far?
Yes, I would rather play this than Sonic Frontiers. You laugh all you want, but I think it's like a week, next week, week after
that it's coming out soon.
That you and I are fucking signed up for the blue motherfucker.
It's fighting the god of war.
Yes,
for supremacy, which is a hell of a gamble.
I guess the thing is that it's just like I feel like they had the idea, this isekai idea, where it's like, yeah, you're a modern lady and you're coming to a fantasy world, and then it's like, okay, and then what happens? And they're like, fantasy world. You're a modern lady, and I'm like, right, but what are you fighting
for?
What
are you doing it?
It's a fantasy world, and you've got magical powers. Like, what do you use the powers for? Fantasy. It's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Like,
can it be a slime that makes manga?
Yeah, seriously. Which, this has a bunch of different like little parkour moves, and they look okay. They look fine.
It looks fine. I'm more curious. This is one of those games that I'm like, once it comes out, I will see what the reviews say.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough here for me to say yes or no either way.
Yes, it could really go either way. So, yeah. It looks pretty. Just empty and pretty. I mean, I've been bitching about Sonic for 6 months, and that game doesn't look bad. Like, the graphics aren't bad. It's just not well utilized.
The area is kind of bad.
Yeah.
I will say that about Sonic Frontiers.
Evil West got a 4 minute 45-second gameplay overview.
Oh, this is a game I'm looking forward to.
Woo, man. I am there's a possibility. Matt and I have been getting close to the end of Resident Evil, and we're looking at the games that come out in November of just like, which one of these do we want to play all the way through? And I remember I showed Matt the trailer for Evil West, and he was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, yes.
It's Magic, Joe. Magic, Matt.
It's Red Dead Darksiders is what it is. Like,
it's everything I've wanted for a Western, like, horror thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, just this wackadoodle thing that's not just like a first-person shooter.
It also looks really good.
It looks great.
It looks really, really good. I love the characters. I like the way they talk in here a lot about all the different kind of like systems and the different weapons that you can use, the kind of close range and far away weapons and customizing them. They even go into the story where it's like you're part of this like vampire demon hunting like cabal, and that you have to like build it back up from the ground up because bad things happen. And I'm like, oh man, is there going to be like a cool base building mechanic too? Is like a hub world I can go back to and talk to people? Oh shit, sign me up again. How many times can I sign up for this game?
I'm really excited about this, to be honest. I'm really excited about it.
Yep.
Because I like a good Western, a weird Western.
Yep.
I love a good weird Western, so yep. I hope this is just as good as it looks.
Did you play Weird West?
I did, but it was tough. It was tough for me.
Yeah.
I'm not good at those types of games.
Yeah, so
unless it involves Mario.
Looks good. I was gonna say that was a treat for Jeff, but I feel like it was a treat for both of us. But Michael, here's a treat for you. We got Gungrave Gore, Brandon Heat.
Yeah, so this is kind of interesting because I think it's just the skin. Because Brandon Heat is just his name when he was alive.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything.
Because the original story of Gungrave is that Brandon Heat was like he was a hitman essentially.
Yeah.
Who was in the mob with his best friend Harry. And he was in love with his best friend's wife.
Cool.
And Harry betrayed him so he could become higher up. And then he came back as basically a vengeful zombie dude.
Sure.
And that's why he calls himself Beyond the Grave. And then that's kind of just that was the whole first game basically. It was just it's a revenge story. So I guess this means this game's going to have a lot of different skins. So it's neat to have a skin of him alive.
Unless there is a no, it doesn't really say. Unless there's like a part of the game where it's like a flashback, right?
That's possible.
You play as him.
Because I really love the Gungrave series a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Again, I only dislike the anime because it has him talking so much in it because he's a very mute character in the games.
I'm gonna put you and John in a room. Let you play this game.
He's like Silent Bob, where he'll talk every now and then, but it's like super rare,
right?
Kind of thing. But he's a great character, and one of my emails when I was younger was because of him. I don't use that email anymore, but one of my emails was because of this game.
Okay. But yeah, November 22nd.
I need to buy this game.
We got an overview trailer for the Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse re-release. This is the fucking Suda 51 Fatal Frame game that didn't come out anywhere but Japan.
Yep.
Can't wait to play this. It's kind of cool. Like, it goes through. I mean, I watched a little bit, and it's a lady crawling around with a camera trying to figure stuff out. There was kind of a cool part that I saw where it looks like one of these characters has like a flashlight that will damage the ghosts.
Oh, that's interesting.
As opposed to like the camera obscura during the action montage. Still's good. I mean, I love me some Fatal Frame. They just keep making bad Fatal Frame games. Like, yeah,
that's the unfortunate thing. Is Fatal Frame is one of those series that, like, when they're good, they're really good, but when they're bad, they're pretty bad.
Yeah, they're boring. So, yep. Apparently, if you pre-purchase the game, you can get an outfit for the main character, like Marie Rose from Dead or Alive.
That makes sense.
Yeah, considering the amount of, I don't know, why is Fatal Frame so horny? Like, not all Japanese games are this horny, but Fatal Frame is very horny.
It's very horny, but add a sex scene, no, they'll lose their shit.
Right. Well, okay, it's slightly horny, but it's also weird because, I don't think you saw this, but if you have save data from the previous game, you also can get another skin, which is giant camera obscura head. Like, just a big head is a camera head.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What the fuck am I looking at?
I don't know.
Oh, sweet Jesus. You guys need to look this up, whoever's listening to this.
It's a little weird.
Fucking, oh my god, that's amazing.
A little fucky.
Oh, if you ever wanted the fucking camera, that's the only way you could.
Yep. We also got a trailer for Dark Pictures anthology Devil in Me, the Halloween serial killer trailer.
Is this the house one?
Yep. This is the one where it's like, oh man, this guy's obsessed with H.H. Holmes. Let's go film a podcast in his house. And then like, oh no, he's a saw man. Like, he's a jigsaw. This one looks better, I think, than some of the previous ones because it's a little bit more just like straight up murdery. Oh god damn, is it raining? Fuck, it's raining.
I think that's what that text I got earlier was about.
Yeah. I needed to walk my dog before it rained, but now I'm gotta figure it out. Anywho, this one I think looks good. I don't know. They've all looked okay, but I like this one. I like this weird murder mansion thing.
Yeah, this one's the most straightforward, like, this is horror genre idea.
Yeah.
Where a lot of them were like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Where this one's like straight up like, this is just straight up a horror idea, and I like that a lot more.
Yep.
Whereas what was that one that we watched where it was like military people or something?
Yep.
And we just like, I don't know what's happening at all.
It was like there was this weird Sumerian like death monsters, and then it's like you played as a bunch of army guys in Afghanistan that were like trying to like fight insurgents, but then also the death monsters came out. Yeah. Matt, I played like 2 parts of it.
It's a very strange one, but but none of them have been like as straightforward, like interesting to me as this one, if that makes sense.
Yep. Here's a weird one. There's going to be a new Bendy game, like Bendy and the Ink Machine game, called Bendy and the Dark Revival, and it's coming out like in November.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it looks an awful lot like a slightly higher resolution version of Bendy and the Ink Machine, where you're kind of running around, but like even at the highest resolution, it still just kind of seems like a running away from monsters and kind of collecting gear. It looks a lot more detailed
than the other one was.
Yeah?
Well, because the other one was like, everything tried to look more like an old-timey cartoon.
Right.
Where this is like, it still has that, but everybody's models are much more detailed.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely looks like they took the success and then they use it to kind of create a new thing that's slightly higher resolution. Looks good. I mean, I'll give it a try. I played through half of the first one with Amanda for Patreon.
Yeah, the original one was pretty interesting.
Said we'd do the rest and then didn't.
That happens. But yeah, I remember liking the idea of the original one quite a bit because it was just like a horror Mickey Mouse after you kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this looks like it's still doing that, but everything's a lot more detailed.
Yeah. Literally out November 15th.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. On Steam. Xbox, PlayStation coming soon.
So. Still, though. This is kind of surprising.
Yep. And then in more horror news, man, the horror just keeps on coming. We got
horror's back, y'all.
Launch trailer for Signalis. I'm gonna have to get this onto the dojo at some point. This is on Game Pass. This is the PlayStation trailer that we're watching, but it's like this kind of top-down isometric, like kind of chunky, low-resolution survival horror thing, but like on a weird space station type of thing, or in the future or something. But definitely like. Kind of, I don't know. Some ways it reminds me of Metal Gear.
Like it reminds, it's got that sort of original top Metal Gear like look.
Yeah,
as well as the way their movements are also kind of PS1-y.
Yeah,
so it is kind of interesting.
It's got some. It's a very, very distinctive art style, and it's getting really good reviews.
That's good.
So at some point we're gonna have to give it a shot. But just like Jesus, there's too many things.
There are way too many things right now, and I don't know if that's good or bad, depending.
Yep.
But that means there's plenty to try.
Yep. We also got the released trailer for The Past Within, which is the latest game from the Rusty Lake developers.
Which ones did they make?
They have a very specific art style that you'll know when you see it. They made, I think you and I played one of them where they make these like weird adventure games where you click on stuff where it'll be like a bunch of weird hotel rooms or like
these guys, I know what you're talking
about, like pictures
now.
And stuff.
Yeah,
this one was announced a little while back where this is a specifically co-op game where one person plays on a screen and the other person plays on a phone, and one person
should try this.
Has like a cube that they're looking into, and then the other person is like, one person is in the future looking into a memory cube and the other person is in the past inside of that memory, and so you can literally communicate with each other. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Looks crazy and cool. Came out this week. Where am I gonna fucking put it? There's only 10 videos in a week.
Too many things, guys.
Too many.
It's too many things.
There's that fucking rain.
It's pretty loud too, actually.
We also got a really brief. Well, not actually really brief. This was. Oh no, wait. This is a different one. All right, let's just roll real quick here. A gameplay reveal for something called Blight Survival, which is a like really gory and gritty medieval fantasy action game.
I had some friends talking about this actually not that long ago.
Yeah, it's going to be a 4-player co-op thing.
Yeah, that's what they were mentioning about it. They mentioned they were comparing it to something. Life me, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but they were interested in it based on what they've heard about it so far.
It's like there's different competing kind of medieval fantasy guys, but then there's also like zombies. But then the combat seems like really, I don't know, like Soulsy or like that weird chivalry. No, not chivalry. That one game.
I know what you're talking about. I keep wanting to say chivalry too.
Yeah.
Shit. What was
anyway, it's very brutal. It's very violent. It's very dark. It's very gritty. It's got some weird stealth. I haven't seen a knight in shining armor.
It's been
military
since,
crawl around on the ground.
I've seen something look just like that. It's like, what the fuck? But it looks really interesting is the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had some friends talking about this not that long ago. I was trying to see if I can find what they were comparing it to, but life of me, I can't find it anymore.
Yeah.
But no, they were very interested in this for some reason. And part of it was the co-op thing, and as well as comparing it to something. But it looks good.
Looks interesting.
And I think it's also supposed to be on pretty much everything, as far as I know. I don't know what it's supposed to be out on.
I don't know if it. Let's see if the news story that I got with this had medieval themed. Searches Baldur's Gate, Elden Ring. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not getting anything.
Either way, people seem to be interested in it.
Yep.
The people I know.
Yep.
From way back when.
We also got a trailer for Level 0, which is another asynchronous multiplayer thing where one person plays as a monster.
Oh, isn't this the fancy Among Us thing?
No.
Or what?
No.
Which one was that one?
That's a different one. I know what you're talking about. It's a different one. This one is basically just like Evolve or take your pick. Any of the asynchronous multiplayer ones where it's like you're a bunch of scientists on another planet and you're trying to get the stuff in order to get back, and then one person plays as like this big fucked up monster. The big thing here seems to be that the monster is hurt by light.
So if you're in the light area, they can't get you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you're like standing near the door to it,
like there's a part where they're kind of going across, like they go across a bridge, and they literally set up like a flashlight essentially on like a tripod, and that burns like the monster when it comes over. I don't know, man. I'm getting a little tired of these.
Well, that's the thing, is that everyone wants to be the asymmetrical darling.
Right.
But it's very, very difficult to make an original one work.
Yeah.
That's why I don't remember if we talked about it on mic about a lot of them are just 80s movies properties lately. Yeah. And those seem to be the only ones that get greenlit. Or the only way they get greenlit is they become asymmetrical games.
Right.
Or vice versa. And this seems ambitious. But this is all pre-rendered. It's very obvious it's all pre-rendered.
Yeah.
But depending on how it plays is really what it depending on how it plays, what the maps are going to be like, as well as like if it will be easy to play without needing to be talking to people all the time.
Sure.
I don't know. That's the tricky thing about these games. But I don't know. It has some potential, but we will not know until we see how it plays.
Hard to say. Level 0. Let's see. And then we've also got a release date for Atomic Heart.
Oh, yes.
Which is, I don't know how to explain Atomic Heart. It's fucking crazy, batshit, like action, Soviet sci-fi. It's like monsters and robots and crazy shit.
It's got like a BioShock look is the only real thing I could say about it.
Yeah, a little bit.
You watching these trailers that they've come out with these over the years, because it's been announced for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And it's a game being made in Russia, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the first trailers we ever saw for it. It had this really rockin' song to it.
This one has a really rockin' song to it as well.
And it just was like, man, I am sold on this already. Please give it to me.
And it's also on Game Pass.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Badass. Okay, that's great. That's great news.
Yep. But they finally got a release date. Everybody's really hoping it's going to be this year. It's February 21st. But
wait, no, that was last February. No, everything was coming out that February, remember?
Right.
So this might, I don't know what's coming out this February, this upcoming February.
So much.
Is it a lot as well?
Let me see if I can give you guys a really brief look.
It is raining really hard.
Yeah, it is. My that's not the one. My microphones will not be able to pick it up, so nobody will hear it but us. What I've got in February right now is Deliver Us Mars, Dead Island 2, Hogwarts Legacy, Theat Rhythm, Wild Hearts, Atomic Heart, Like a Dragon, Ishin, Digimon World, Next Order, Horizon, Call of the Mountain, Blood Bowl 3, PSVR, that we just talked about earlier.
That's right. That's true.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Octopath Traveler 2, and the next expansion for Destiny.
Well, some of those are re-releases, so I think we're fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of them are VR.
Yeah.
And one of them is Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's after a January that has One Piece Odyssey and all the Persona re-releases, the new Fire Emblem game for Spoken.
Oh, that's right. Kakarot's getting re-released as well.
Kakarot re-release on the next-gen systems. Like, it ain't stop. The games start coming and they don't stop coming. Also, the Front Mission remake is coming out in November.
Oh, is it this November?
Yep. November 30th of this year.
Oh, that's super fast. Holy shit. Didn't they just say we'll announce something like a week or two ago? Or
yep.
It probably wasn't even that
Also,
long.
they put out a new trailer, and it kind of looks like garbage, but, I mean, I know
it's a remake of a very
I
old
know
game.
it's an old game, but I wish they would have remade it harder. Like, it just kind of looks a little like, it's fine. And it's good to get those games back out into the world. But, like, I don't know. I just compare the way that the Wanzers shoot at each other to, like, what looks like an advanced war. And I'm just like, it's a little.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue with there's some remakes is they don't go far enough to make it more interesting than what you would have seen before, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of stuff coming out next year, we got the release date for The Last of Us on HBO. January 15th. We finally got a release date for that.
Which is surprisingly soon, but also not soon enough for some people.
Yes.
Especially with how little we've seen.
I kind of think that it would be like a really weird, like January would be a really weird time, right? It's like it's all cold. We're past I guess maybe it's the right time. Everybody's a little like depressed. The big festive holiday season is over. It's cold outside. We're starting another fucking year. Like
you want to be depressed as fuck? Well, watch The Last of Us in January.
Check out this thing.
I'm excited though because I like Pedro Pascal a lot.
Riven is getting a remake.
Everything's getting a remake now.
Yep. I don't know why, but fine. The only part about this is Kotaku story where the gimmick of the Kotaku story is how the writer talks about how overrated and shitty Myst is for like half of it, and then is like, and then like somebody else comes in and they're just like, actually Myst is amazing, blah 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 blah. So
Myst.
It's going to be like the original Myst, where it turns out that everything is like it's going to be fully 3D, right? So you can just walk around wherever you want. Fine, whatever. Remedy said that Alan Wake 2 is still on track for next year. So
badass.
No more delays. Should be happening sometime early to mid 2023.
Wait, they're getting a Control co-op spinoff?
Yeah, there was a Control multiplayer thing that they've been tooling around with, but it's still like in development. Like it's still in experimentation.
I didn't know about that.
Kind of phase.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's called Project or codename Condor.
So a Jackie Chan movie.
Yep. Hey, you remember we talked about Deadpool and Midnight Suns?
We did.
Midnight Suns is getting Deadpool, Venom, Storm, and Morbid Time.
Oh, is he part of the season pass?
Yes.
I thought that's interesting that Venom's part of the season pass because he was just in the game already, right? Or he was a boss in the game.
Yeah.
So they probably had to toll him. I did find out it is Nolan North as Deadpool.
Oh, okay.
Because he's been doing that voice. I think he was the first animated voice for Deadpool in at least in English. Since Wolverine versus Hulk. That was the first time he ever did it.
Holy shit, we're so far over time. I gotta have less. Anyway, yes. Turns out Deadpool is going to be in Midnight Suns, and all of these individual characters are getting story DLC with them. So it'll be like cool. Character and then a little vignette, because it's not like you're playing online or anything, right?
Yeah,
so,
there's not really anything to add outside of story stuff. So good for them.
Yep. There was a game that Sega created back in the 90s called Sacred Pools that was like a saucy FMV adventure game with like kind of scantily clad ladies. It wasn't porno, but it was like risque for the Dreamcast that never got released. They spent millions on it. There's a bunch of interesting information about it online. Apparently, they had like these parties. One of them, Hole, the band Courtney Love's band Hole, played like one of these private parties.
Oh my god!
And then like crazy dancers in cages and stuff like that. And they just could never get anybody excited about this game. And they spent several $1 million on it because they got like name brand actors and stuff to come in and do it. And they shelved the entire project. But just recently, somebody got a hold. I should really credit where credit is due. Zebazabazoo, Sega, Gaming Alexandria managed to get a hold of like burned CDs that was like an internal final build of the game from somebody that just like took them home and then never reported them. And they have literally created now PSX, PC, and Dreamcast ROMs of this game that can be played.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love when that sort of thing happens because there's so many games out there that were fairly far into their development that people would kill to be able to have like access to all of their builds. like Battlefront, the original Battlefront 3, for instance.
Yeah.
That was killed all due to like internal politics. That was almost finished, and I'm sure people would love to get a hold of all of that stuff.
Yep. I already downloaded them. They're on the Internet Archive. I don't know. I mean, these chunky FMV games, maybe. This one looks too boring, though. But anyway, it's out there. You can download it, see what you think about it.
That's the tricky thing about FMV games. Either they're really boring or too complicated.
Right.
There are very few that were directly in the middle.
Speaking of crazy full motion video, we got a crazy full motion video for God of War Ragnarok with Ben Stiller as Kratos, having a therapy session with John Travolta and LeBron James about
and their kids,
with their kids, about how they feel close to their kid, or how he's really connected with the idea of Kratos and his son. It's kind of a fun commercial.
It's actually a fairly fun commercial, but it's the weirdest fucking commercial.
It's very strange
that PlayStation has done in quite some time.
It's very strange. It's
especially
also very,
since Ben Stiller is wearing a full Kratos outfit.
Well, also because Ben Stiller's wearing a full Kratos outfit, and John Travolta and LeBron James are both bald men with beards.
Yes,
and Ben Stiller has a fake beard and hair. So,
although they joke about Travolta owning one, and the only reason he's not wearing it is because it got covered in salsa.
Right,
which is a good joke.
Yep, it's very weird.
I don't know who in marketing came up with this.
Yeah,
but I'm glad that they did it.
This is one of those times where
the shit is insane.
Where PlayStation calls an audible, and they end up with something good, right?
Yeah. Well, that depends on who you ask, really.
Well, I guess, yeah.
But I enjoy it enough, but it's absolutely kind of insane.
Yeah. Well, it may be kind of insane, but it's not even the most insane full motion video thing. We've had full motion video, saucy Dreamcast games. We had full motion video, Ben Stiller dressed up like Kratos. But the sauciest of full motion video is a fan film on a YouTube channel called Residents of Evil that is basically a pitch for a Patreon / Kickstarter to do a live action short film with the actors that played Chris Redfield, Barry Burton, and Albert Wesker in like the opening of Resident Evil 1.
Those three guys. Okay.
And so they built this little 3-minute short film with the fucking Chris is riding around on a helicopter, and then it comes out in the middle of the desert, and like there's Wesker standing there, and they just kind of growl at each other for a little while, and it's really short and it's really stupid, and I kind of love it.
I kind of love that. What's the fun thing about modern internet is we have made the most obscure shit into some very famous, among certain circles at least, things that they never even thought about after they were done with them.
Yep.
I mentioned this during our Resident Evil Shadow of Rose thing, where the guy who did Wesker's voice for the PS1 game didn't even know he was a popular character, that he voiced a very popular character for a long time. And the internet just told him randomly on a YouTube channel that he had that, hey, by the way, you did the most amazing fucking voice for a huge character. And all these people are really excited to find out that they're very beloved now.
Yep.
And it would not have been possible without the internet.
Yep. It's like when they finally managed to do that thing where they somehow got Nolan North to play Nathan Drake in that short film. And it was just like, holy shit.
They got not Nolan North. It was Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah.
They convinced him to do it, and it was fucking awesome.
It was
way better than the movie was.
Yeah.
Fucking movie.
And that's our show. I have to stop. I have to get fewer news stories in the future. I have to have fewer dunks on Overwatch, fewer dunks on Call of Duty.
The issue is me and you talk forever on whatever the fucking. It could have been about stocks, and we probably would have made that shit last forever.
Game stocks,
exactly.
Yeah. See, the other problem is the fact that this week I scheduled you and I to record the podcast on a Friday night when neither one of us have jack shit to do.
That's true.
And I don't really feel bad about eating up your. I mean, it's 7:45. It's not like you still got time to do whatever you want on Friday night.
Yeah, I don't even have I don't have to go to work tomorrow or something.
It's raining outside. What are you gonna leave now? No, you're gonna sit around and complain about Zack Snyder until the rain is over.
Exactly.
Before you start complaining about Zack Snyder, please tell the people of the internet where they can find you when you're not over here complaining about Zack Snyder with me.
You can find me on oneofus.net, where sometimes I complain about Zack Snyder. I did not in the Black Adam one that much. I still talked shit about him in that one, if I remember correctly. But
how could you not?
But I probably won't have as many reviews coming up because I forgot to sign up for them because I was playing Mario Rabbids.
Guess that means you just got to do more RageSelect. Including videos that you could watch on patreon.com/RageSelect. Like, let's say, for instance, that there's a new God of War coming out. You needed to see everything that happened in the previous God of War, you can watch Michael and I play all the way through the previous God of War. Maybe you're itching for Evil West and you just need some of that flying wild hog goodness. You can watch Michael and I play all the way through Shadow Warrior 3. There's plenty of things that you could watch.
Also, let us know if you want us to keep doing the Shadow of Rose DLC.
Oh, yeah.
That was the thing that we pitched the idea
Man,
of.
I'm so torn because it's like I want to keep playing that. I want to keep playing the Curse of the Golden Idol, even though I've almost finished on my own. Like, I want to play that Resident Evil weird space station game that I just showed you.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It's too many things.
I need twice as powers.
Have you finished Bayonetta 3?
No! Yeah. I'm halfway through Bayonetta 3.
Shit, yeah,
I keep getting confused.
I'm trying to do only Mario Rabbids at the moment.
Oh, my
That's
God.
my current goal.
Oh, my God.
Hopefully.
Donate to patreon.com so I can get bit by a radioactive spider and get the powers that I need to be able to play all the video games. Also, it helps us stay in business. Also, I'm not actually going to spend your money on radioactive spiders. You can find those all over the place. They're easy to find.
The drizzle.
Yes, exactly.
Got bit by a radioactive worm, and now he controls the rain.
But yes, if you are interested in listening to these podcasts fall under the Patreon banner. So, like, Patreon funds all of RageSelect. So yeah, if you enjoy these podcasts, maybe consider just kicking us $5 a month. Help us help you to eat up time every Monday. And that is it. Goodbye. I have no more shade to throw. My metaphors are all used up. It's time to complain about Zack fucking Snyder already.